I'm telling you guys, I was feeling down, but my hero raised me up. And no, I'm not talking about Cody because he got cucked out by Travis Scott, and John Cena and a Rock that didn't want to show up. Um, and I can't talk about CM Punk because he got outsmarted by the greatest superstar in the world, Seth Rollins. Uh, I would say Braun Breaker. Well, I mean, Braun's still up there, because especially after what he did. But Gunther is the hero, folks. And I hope you understand this man didn't just do it for me, didn't do it for you. He did it for Stephanie Becker. He did it for, you know, Raquel Gonzalez, and that evil nationalist. And he's telling her to speak English. I thought we were supposed to be, giving what's ups to, people that are from different countries. But no, this man that's fallen asleep at the wheel, Gunther had to take care of that. And I appreciate that, Gunther. We want to give you are the hero of the day. Appreciate you so much. And that's from everybody here at Wrestle Take. We really appreciate you. You did God's work.
Don't lump me into this. Don't you dare.
Oh, I gotta lump you in. Because really, Raw After Mania should have been called the Ode to Ladarius Brown, because a couple of your people made you proud. First of all, I mean, first of all, let's just address the comments because we've got a good full of them already, and I'll introduce Ladarius Brown. So give me a second, so I'm not forgetting. All right, so the Raw After Mania cooked, and I like Braun aligning himself with Seth Rollins, Heyman. That was really awesome and a cool way to end Raw. I agree. I also like Becky Lynch's heel turn. I thought that was really well done as well. I got my comments, but I am on board. It's just, like I said, I got some comments on it. I like how Raw ended with Braun standing side by side with Rollins and Heyman, and I like seeing Braun Breaker align himself with Seth. Yeah, they were teasing that for like a couple of years when Heyman came down and worked with Braun that one time, and they said that Heyman really likes working with him. So, of course, John likes seeing Julia and Stephanie Bekoa, Roxanne. I mean, Pat McAfee. If people are going to be on your show, you should take some time out and learn their names. That would be helpful. I mean, I know you're smoking weed all the time, apparently, like Paul Heyman taught us. And I would like the match, and definitely like the match between Stephanie and Io. That match was fun. As far as NXT goes, Roxanne and Stephanie, of course. I mean, they're not going to give you a bad match. Like to stare down between the NXT and with Julia, Jordan Grace, and Stephanie. Oh, yeah, we'll be talking a little bit about NXT, especially Stacks in the Desert. Don't know where Luca Fino is, though. I like the segment between Jay and Sammy. They all came together to celebrate. It was a cool, very cool, for sure. Like segment between Orton and Cena. Orton doing his thing. If you haven't seen the behind-the-scenes stuff real quick, I would like y'all to go check it out. It's somewhere. I saw it. Randy Orton was working with the ring crew, and a couple of them knew it was him, so they were like opening their jackets trying to block him or block the people from like taking pictures of him sliding under the ring. And I gotta actually say, they did a damn good job. It took me a couple of times to actually noticed it. What's up, everyone from April and Ron? Much love to our guys. Now, remember, Friday is actually going to be we're going to be responding to the draft. We're not doing the draft show before the draft because, quite honestly, then I'm going to be tempted to do a draft show afterwards or a result. So let's just make it easy. We'll give our reviews of the draft, the first round, and we'll definitely talk about somebody showing up to practice. But right now, we're talking wrestling. And all right, so I think I got one more. Gunther is a hero. Gunther isn't. No, I don't know how that. I don't know how the two can even be in the same sentence there, David. I think Gunther. You need to understand, Gunther righted some wrongs, and I loved it. So we're going to talk about it. We'll talk about it. But before we do, let me introduce y'all to the main man, Mr. I don't think you're a tribal chief. I think you're more of a visionary, a revolutionary. I think personally, you should be Ladarius freaking Brown.
Oh, man, that's pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, there we go. That's pretty good.
And you still have a wise man.
It all works out in the end. It all works out.
Exactly. So, what's up, Ladarius? How you doing? And I know normally I ask what you want to talk about, but of course we're going to have to talk about what happened yesterday on the Pat McAfee show or with The Rock. I don't want to cover like question per question, but if you ever want to know, what was your thoughts? Because if you ever want to know who ruined a WrestleMania, I think it's really easy now to just say it was The Rock. But you tell me what you thought.
Look, I'm going to be super quick. I saw bits and pieces. Here's the thing. I think that where people, I understand how people may feel the way they feel. Like, I'm not going to tell you how you feel or how to tell you how you should feel about it. But the reality is this. Not having The Rock there did have an impact. Yes, it did. But am I going to sit here and bash him? Not necessarily. And here's why. Because he kind of, see, the thing is, he kind of dropped subtle hints that, oh, he's going to be there, and then he's not going to be there. So I'm not surprised. Like I said, I'm shocked he wasn't there, but I'm not as angry that he wasn't. The only thing that upsetted me is that it would have been a better match without Travis Scott.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the story would have been better told without Travis Scott. Now, whether we can, blame The Rock or whatever, I'm not trying to be Mr. Nice Guy here. I'm just simply saying you have a right to be angry. People have a right to be angry. But I'm not going to throw up my arms and say, oh, this was the worst WrestleMania. Like, no, the match was not great. But it would have been a lot better without Travis Scott in it. Because if you take out his role in the match flows just fine. And the moment that the big moment, like it would have been fine without Travis. I'm not going to sit here and be upset at The Rock's comments because, look, I'm not surprised. Listen, you called to save him. Yeah, it's not a good look when you have to say, oh yeah, they called me in because they needed ratings. That's not good. But I'm not going to sit here and bash him for not being there because it's WrestleMania. Because see, the problem is, and I'll be done. The problem is that we saw what happened at WrestleMania 40, and people are thinking, "Oh, well, The Rock, and he's gonna," and people set the bar too high. Okay, and then it's like a movie you want to see, and then you get disappointed when the movie's not what you think. Doesn't mean the movie's terrible, but it's where you set the bar. And I think why more people are disappointed is where they set the bar for this. Me, I kind of kept it a little high, not super like, oh, because people understand WrestleMania 40 happened because it was the 40th WrestleMania. That's why. It's like, that's why you saw all the stunts pulled out. This here you could have done without Travis Scott. And I said it once, I'll say it on any show that I am and I have, you could have did without it. And the match would have been better. Because this was about Cody. Cody had the opportunity to be the bad guy and hit John Cena. But Cody chose to be the good guy. Now, I expect The Rock to show up at a future PLE, but it's not a great look. But I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but I'll just say this and then put a button on it. I'm not upset at his comments. I'm disappointed, but I'm not upset. If that makes any sense. I'm not upset. I'm just disappointed in the comments. So those are my overriding thoughts.
All right. I hate them. And it's real simple. If you don't want to be a part of it, stay the fuck home. This is just going to be as simple as I can make it. This is now becoming a problem with WWE being in bed with Hollywood, with podcasters, with all this stuff. Too many cooks, and you can't cook. Rock made it very clear he wanted Cody heel. Why would you want Cody heel? I don't know, maybe so when he shows up to wrestle, he could be the babyface and get his fans back. Now, someone says that's ridiculous. Is it? As a fragile ego that The Rock has, is it? My thing is this: you ruined WrestleMania. You did, because it's like this. I tried not to even equate Rock in. I figured the whole turn, I was like, okay, maybe they'll do something clever, but try to keep Rock like a mystery. Keep him like you don't know if he is going to be there or not. But they did nothing. Cody was the one that brought it up, not Cena. The whole soul thing, stop. There's no storyline with the soul. No one cares about, oh, well, Rock said he wants Cody soul. No, he really doesn't. All he wants to do is turn Cody heel so he could be the babyface and win everything, or make it a way to get Roman to win it. And quite honestly, all that tells me is he's selfish. And this whole thing about the Ari Emanuel, I believe it. Problem was, though, there was over 40,000 tickets sold, and they were still selling. And it was the week before the Chamber, so we needed that. All I'm saying is this. Rock threw everyone under the bus but himself. And then he tries to say, I would have done stuff differently with the Cena and Travis Scott thing. I don't want to hear you talk. You are now officially the same as David Meltzer. When you talk, I'm not listening. Because I don't know if you're full of crap or if you are serious. All I care now is I want to watch the wrestling in front of me. And if I see you on TV, I'll just switch you off. Because quite honestly, you don't matter. And before everyone tells me he's a great movie star and all this, yeah, ask the people at DC what they thought of him. Let's not play this game. He's got an ego, and you know what, Rock? I have a new name for you. You could be Rock Hogan or Rock McMahon, but you choose, because right now it's looking like you're both. And the other thing I'm going to say is this: your dad wasn't no pure angel either. And he sure had a grudge to grind against Tony Atlas, which was something. And now I see where the family gets it from. Entitlement. So, with that being said, when it comes to The Rock, it's simple. He shows up, we'll talk about it. I'm not going to fantasy book him. I'm not looking at anything progressive. Like this whole faction, someone tried to say, oh, and then they can intercept with The Rock and team up. I'm like, nah. I guarantee you, if you let Seth Rollins, Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, hell, you can even add Becky Lynch to the group. There are ways to make things better, and I guarantee you won't need The Rock. And personally, the man's 52. He can't give you anything else. Okay? If you remember WrestleMania 29, he tore an adductor muscle. If I'm a wrestler wrestling him, I'm making sure he tears something. Oh, it's going to cost you tonight. So, that's just my opinion. And like I said, we all have them, just like noses. And look, I know I'm a small wrestling fan. I don't really generate numbers. So, my opinion means nothing to the WWE or The Rock. And that's what I want also to remember. Because, boy, wasn't that the thing that people kept hearing the whole time between Triple H, between Khan, it's like, thank God Shawn Michaels didn't talk. I thought Shawn would say the same thing. I was like, damn, did y'all just like memorize the memo or something? What happened? Because right now, I will say this. After the Monday Night Raw that was had, I thought that was a good first step in recovering from that bad WrestleMania. And it was bad. the matches, a lot of those matches didn't need to be on WrestleMania. The builds were bad. Stephanie and Charlotte, that was a train wreck. Tiffany and Charlotte. And, the main event is how you leave them. Cody, you said it perfectly. You take Travis Scott out, you could have came up with a million ways better to have Cody lose. But Travis Scott, really? And the man had a longer entrance than most of the wrestlers. I mean, you would have thought he would have borrowed drunk Steve Austin's ATV. He wouldn't have known it was missing. Someone should have taken it from him. So, yeah, that was my thought. I hope. Oh, okay, cool. Sorry. My son is celebrating. A couple of things. Celebrating the fact about the Switch 2, they're getting about 50 of them. So if you want to get one of those, go to GameStop over in Gainesville and hook them up. You got to pay for it first because we're not giving it away. Also, now I've seen a rumor that Alberto Del Rio is actually getting released from AAA. He's the world champion there. It's going to be really interesting because I know WWE don't want to work with him. So that was the other bit of news I saw today. So let's talk about it. What was your thoughts on Stand and Deliver NXT?
You know what? I absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
I think in NXT always you can make a case. I'm not going to be the one to make the case that Stand and Deliver was a little bit better than WrestleMania. I'm not saying that.
No. You're not wrong there.
I'm not saying. I guess the best way to say it is Stand and Deliver always does that every year. And what I particularly enjoyed was that every match felt like it had meaning, it had a storyline, or it was either one of three things. It was something, a storyline, it was it was a battle, it was a competition, it was everything just felt right. And even when you look back at the main event, it was great. You look at NXT basically showed you the blueprint of how to do it. And that women's ladder match for the North American title is always fantastic. And people who know, I love multi wrestler matches because everyone gets their stuff in, everyone shines, and that's exactly what happened. And we had a couple of, we had the triple threat with the men's NXT championship. We had it with the women's, the fatal 4-way. You had the ladder match. I enjoyed it. Like, you could argue match of the night. You could argue probably one of the best matches all of WrestleMania weekend were the women's matches. That fatal 4-way Stand and Deliver, the triple threat between Io, Bianca, excuse me, and Rhea. Like, at NXT, the women's, it shined. Both the North American title match, and the women's NXT, they both shined. And it gets you curious about the future. And like I say, that's a down the road thing, but I have a few thoughts, but we'll save for another day. But it was an absolutely amazing pay-per-view. Maybe not for Tony Khan the way it kicked off, because look,
week it didn't go well for Tony Khan. Let's remember that.
It's like this. Booking isn't hard if you know how to book.
Yeah.
Okay. That's all there is to it. And with Stephanie McMahon, and like I say, I just can't get over how great the women's matches. They told a story, and even the NXT after Stand and Deliver was great, because it's the storytelling. You're seeing paths, you're seeing different journeys kind of breaking out, and that's what I enjoy. And it makes you curious about what happens now. Stephanie McMahon, and what's going to happen with Jordan Grace? What's going to happen with Julia? Excuse me. What's going to happen with Jada Parker? And you're kind of going to see that play out. And I just can't get over. I absolutely loved it. Those two matches, and particularly the women's matches, and I might have a little bias, but I absolutely enjoyed it. Even like Oba and Javon. Let me tell you something. Javon Evans, I keep telling, if you didn't think that kid is a star, he's going to win that belt someday. Yeah. It may not be this year, but when we start seeing like Oba and potentially Trick get that call to the main roster, don't be shocked if he becomes a focal point for that title, and he gets a singles title sooner rather than later. That he put on a great performance, and in between two guys, between two former champions between the current champion and then a former champion, shine. So, like I said, all in all, it was a great PLE.
All right, awesome. And I gotta say, so you had 4 tag teams from the women that competed in the elimination match first in the pre-show. Then it was 6 women, and then another 4.
Yeah, more women. I didn't mean to cut you off. More women competed in a PLE, and it's like, yeah, I think, like I said, Shawn Michaels, when he was a chef back in the day with listen, he really was cooking. He cooked here. It's like, build your future. He understood what the people wanted to see. No disrespect to the men in that division, but the women, it just goes to show you how deep of a talent pool it is. And like I say, they're going to be fine. And then here's the thing, C-Dub, Evolve. It's like
more folks, there too.
And it got me thinking. Like, I mean to jump in. I apologize for doing it.
You're fine.
But it's a reminder of, like, if you haven't seen Bayley's interview with Chris Van Fleet, it makes you think what's next for her. And we kind of talked about this. I think we kind of hit on it a while back with the 4 horsewomen. We got to understand that. I said this, within the next 3 to maybe, I say within the next 3 years, you're going to see Becky. Becky's already kind of moving to Hollywood. She, Bayley, I think the way she was talking, it's like she has like a year and a half left on her contract. Mm-hmm. With Charlotte Flair. I think you're going to start seeing a transition. And that's why I want so bad to have Mercedes Moné come back to or Sasha Banks, whatever you want to call her, come back for one more time, and to see the 4 horsewomen. I want to see them face 4 women who are the future it's deep fantasy booking, but it's just something to think about. And like to your point, like all the women, the 6 women in the North American title match, the 8, the 4 tag teams, and then you throw in the 4 that competed in the women's
total.
Yeah, if you think about it, that's over half. Like, that's over 67% of the card. Mm-hmm. It's like NXT. When people say, "Oh, this is the best women's division," it's not hyperbole. It's not just. It's not like like how people do like a clickbait. No, it's legitimate. It's absolutely, and we haven't even talked. Like I said, we haven't even talked about Evolve and the talent that's down there, like with Kaylee Armstrong and Kendall Gray, Chantel Munder. Like, we haven't even talked about them.
Yeah,
and that's like I'm getting overwhelmed. But as someone who's loved women's wrestling and for so long, I think that Stand and Deliver PLE was a statement.
Yeah,
and I hope people got the statement just in the same way that Naomi versus that was a statement.
Yeah,
that match was a statement. That I don't want to go too deep into it because I want to take up too much time. That means I'll talk less later. But like, people understand the significance of that Naomi and Jade Cargill match. two women of color. There's no titles on the line. It's two, and they're showcasing Jade's first ever WrestleMania in a singles capacity. Naomi put on a great. Listen, I tell people, Triple H. Listen, when people try to put race, listen to what Triple H said. People focus on what There's sometimes you focus on what you say or didn't say. Focus on what he said. He puts the best out there, regardless of color. And what you saw was a display of that, whether it's color, gender, or whatever. That NXT was a statement for all the women. Hey, you want to come be a star, or you come here. And so that's my 2.5, maybe 3 cents on that. And I'll turn it over back to y'all. Just sit here and eat my fudge round.
You got fudge rounds. Hold on. All right. So, what was your thought about that elimination tag match? I mean, did you like the winner? I know we had Roxanne ditching on Cora, and then everyone else kind of got eliminated throughout. But what do you think?
You know what? I loved it. I mean, the women's tag team division in NXT is deeper than what we thought. And I'm happy for Tatum. I was happy for Tatum and Gigi to win, because you kind of alluded to it on the pre-show that we did before. That I think we both agree we wanted somebody different. Mm-hmm. It's just I went one way and you went that, but it still came out the same way, where somebody different. And kudos. It was great. I could argue you could have pulled a certain match. You could have pulled a certain match with a certain Don. You could have put that on the pre-show, and put this bad boy on the main card. But listen, what's done is done. Higginbottom, he booked it. I'm not listen, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
We're gonna talk about that match, right? We gotta talk about that. Match.
Yeah, I'm gonna be real quiet on that one. Wink.
Wink. No. People want to hear what you have to say, my brother, especially after Stack's,
good
his epic talking point to
Hey, what happened to Luca? You might ask. That's a great one.
That's what a lot of people are asking now.
Hey, why you brought me out here? Son of a yeah.
If you ain't watched Goodfellas, all right. So, if you didn't know, the North American Championship, Ricky Saints versus All Ego Ethan Page, first match. Wasn't that long of a match, but honestly, I really enjoyed it. They really work well together. Yes, the crowd was saying Tony fumbled, and thank you, Tony. So, if anything, I thought Las Vegas was respectful at first. Now, of course, this is way early for them, so maybe they're not used to being up this early. But anyway, they realized they were supposed to have manners, unlike how they treated my Cody Rhodes. But anyway, we're not going to talk about that. None of us are bitter about that. So, what do you think about Ricky Saints getting the win, man?
I liked it. I think what we saw. Listen, we all know. I think we both feel the same way about him. Just absolute talent comes off the screen. And he's facing a guy that, familiar with. That's important. You can kind of see the chemistry kind of there. So it was, like I said, it wasn't a super long match. But sometimes you don't get to have like a long match, especially with two. For me, they know how to kind of, the pace kind of picks up a little. But I'm glad Ricky, returned. And listen, if we get like another match between him and Ethan, I'm not gonna sit here and be upset about it. I'm not gonna be like, oh no. But it was a great match between two very good competitors.
I kind of want to skip the next match. You know how you feel about D'Angelo?
Oh wait, yeah, is it yeah? We can skip it, but fine. If it's a moral obligation, fine.
All we're going to say is this. Somehow, there's a snowball in hell because Hank and Tank won the tag titles. And that's all you need to know. I will say the funniest spot was seeing Hank doing a suicide dive and literally landing on the table and splatting on that table.
Oh my god! Like who? That was hilarious. I mean, I'm like, are NXT tables different from like main roster tables? Because I mean,
for the fact that didn't break,
and the fact that I wouldn't even call that an air ball. Like, oh, and the way he's looking through the ropes, and I'm like, he's really going to do it, is he? And it's like,
I don't even think they were even close to the table.
No.
You know,
it's like
one of those,
here's the table. Here, Hank is off the screen. You can't see my hand, but he's off the screen. Yeah. That's like what we.
This is where you want Jerry here. This is where we miss you, Jerry, because this is one of those we can ask you. What the hell was he thinking? Because I don't even think Jerry could have put two and two together on that one.
Like nobody can explain how cheeks that was. Like that was awful.
All right, talking about cheeks, that ladder match for the women's North American title. I know I just lobbed this up like a damn softball pitch, but here you go. What'd you think about the match?
I don't know if I should respond, but
no, I'm giving you the first at bat on this one, bro. This is because, like I said, you're the one that writes on it. So, tell me, did it live up to your expectations? Did it,
Yes, okay. I think. And what made it great is that Sol Ruka. I think we talked. Sol Ruka is kind of the ones I kind of liked in this match. Somebody different, and somebody they've been trying to kind of get a belt on, or someone you want to give like a little push, like they did it with Kalani Jordan at the inaugural in a similar type match last year. So it was like shout out to like Thea Hale. Like I think to me there's something there. Shout out to Saharia. She did great. I think you can't name I think everybody just people may say it's everyone did great, but they did. And what made it great was that in my opinion, like I said, everybody got their stuff in, but like Sol Ruka looked fantastic. Like those ladder spots, like folks. Those, like I say, those type of multi people, especially when it's like a TLC or a ladder match, those are hard to do. Like, how do you make the they figured it out. And like I said, when you kind of look at it, like even Izzy Dame, Lola Vice, like everybody did great in this match. And it's like Thea Hale, like it's one of those things, C-Dub, where it makes me smile and go, you know what? This women's division. Oh God, it's so talented. So when people tell you, like, you couldn't have gone wrong with anybody in this match. That's usually any other time I'd say, I don't know about that person.
Yeah.
But if you would have told me like anybody could have won, I'm like, that's how I felt. And it felt for a while maybe Izzy was gonna win. And then it felt for a while maybe Thea was gonna do. And then penultimately being Sol. I enjoyed this. Was probably, you can make a case, one of the best matches of the night. And outside of one we'll talk about shortly. But this was definitely one of the best matches I could argue of the card in a WrestleMania weekend. That's how high I think of that match.
Man, I was impressed with all of them. And I thought Thea Hale really impressed me too. I thought she really put on a great show. Really enjoyed Izzy Dane, and Kalani Jordan did a good job too. So it's like they really proved, all of them proved that what this belt was going to mean. They wanted to make sure it meant that, and they put the effort out. And I honestly can't fault them. And if anything, I love the effort and the mindset that they had for it. And that's where I think, Sol Ruka, how many times we've seen her in matches and she's close, but she just never gets it. Well, she finally does, and it's good. It's good for her. I'm glad for her. She had that coming. And if it's like this, you said it right. There wasn't anyone you were looking going, God, I hope they don't win. We had enough of those people. But it was one of those, man, you wouldn't have mind if you saw, Zahara win. You wouldn't mind if they did, Kalani. You wouldn't mind if it was Izzy. There was a story for it. Believe it or not, this was one of those. You could have pulled a story for any of the 6 that were in there.
Yeah.
Because, people were like, well, what about Zahara? She just showed, well, you know what? Yeah. And guess what? Her story's pretty phenomenal because guess what? Everyone was being shot up to the moon and she was still where she was.
Yeah.
How many people get bitter and angry about that? I mean, hell, we had a whole damn thing about tag team issues. I mean, we were dealing with people didn't want to be professional. Not naming any names, Charlotte. But we're just saying. But I'm just happy for people that put the work in. And to me, I think Solo Ruka did. I mean, it's something about being that person that's known as, oh man, she's going to be, when she gets moved, she's going to be something special. And then it's not there at first. And you're still known as, man, don't sleep on this person. But you know how that goes. We've seen wrestlers where, man, we're really fans of them, but are they ever going to have that moment? Are they ever going to have that breakthrough moment that it's for them? British Bulldog comes to mind. His biggest moment in his career was the Intercontinental title match against Bret. And if I'm not mistaken, I remember him telling Bret he effed up because he can't remember any of the spots. So Bret's going, it's all good, I got you. And that was more impressive on Bret's end than it was on Bulldog. But I mean, it was just, something like that you have to respect. And that's why I look at it. Some wrestlers don't have that moment for whatever reason. But when they get that moment, enjoy it. And you could tell she was loving that moment. I mean, she was up there, she was feeling it. And I thought Zahara was one of the best workers in that match. Coming from someone that was supposed to be this unbelievable, unstoppable badass, you could tell the work that she's put in with her character. I don't know if you noticed it. I'm just saying, in what I've seen, she has put a lot of work in on that, but also just being able to be relatable. And it's kind of hard when you first come into WWE because you're trying to make sure you find what is you. So I'm just, like I said, I think the women did amazing. And I just hope I'm echoing your sentiments. If I'm not, I apologize. I should do better, but that's just me. Uh-oh, I lost him. All right, I'm going to hold on. I got to wait. My buddy, my tag team partner. Look, if you didn't want to talk about D'Angelo's, I get it, but I get it. You didn't want to talk about the D'Angelo family.
Yeah, I was hitting buttons and I'm
like
I looked at the card and said, no, I'm going to bounce out. No.
I'm like, all right, we got to talk about it. The match itself was not bad. Okay, the match itself was not bad.
Fine.
Was it infuriating? Yes, because me and Ladarius was pissed off watching this. So Ladarius, I'm tossing it to you, and then of course I'll take it home. But I want you to have the first crack at this because man,
well, listen, I'm just going to tell you right now. Listen, math is not hard.
Yeah,
all right.
No, not.
Oh, hey, there's 4 of Dark State. Oh, so one's going to go back. So only 3's going to come out, right? All 4 of them came out. All 4.
Aren't they the heels?
Yes.
Okay, so that means they're not going to listen to the rules, right?
Correct. So, they're going to go back? No. And then you bring out, oh, there's 3 of us. Like, I could argue Rizzo did more than Crucifino did. Because where was Crucifino
you
for
were
the
pointing
back?
that out big time, too.
Where was Crucifino on the back end of that match? I'm like, so when they did the camera angles, I'm thinking, well, who's left? And then you see Rizzo just doing a body splash, and I'm like, how did she take?
And she took him out.
And I'm like, that could have been your 4th person. It's like, and then no. I'm gonna tell you what gets me.
Go for it.
Hey, Tony D, why are you angry at a man who literally was cleaning house? You didn't want to take the tag because you're supposed to be no. Look, you didn't. Why were you angry? I said all Stacks has done was do something that you didn't do, which was solve the problem. He knew it was a numbers issue, so he went and got a couple of guys from Jersey, flew him out down to the NXT parking lot, the most dangerous place it seems to be in the South, and possibly in the, you could argue, in North America. And
it really is.
And he was able to get 2 guys. He was able to even the odds. And yet, listen, he was going to betray you. Listen, instead of you, I was negotiating. Buddy, were you just, listen, you're like, listen, like, go look up, hey, folks, go look up Seward's Folly and look about Alaska. To me, that's how I felt about this. This is how I felt about Tony D'Angelo's negotiating skills. Because it's like, hey, why are people like go Google Seward's Folly? Or why is he comparing to this? Because you know why? Because you can't negotiate. It's like you can't negotiate. There's 4 of them and 3 of you, and you got the nerve. Oh, I got us a match at the biggest Stand and Deliver. The best I can do is Stand and Deliver. It's so cool. So where was the 4th guy? Because you could have made this a 4-on-4 match. We've seen 4-on-4 matches. Heck,
bring someone out.
We've seen a 10-woman match on NXT.
Yeah.
So you're telling me you couldn't do an 8-person you couldn't do an 8-man tag?
I know.
You're telling me that this Crucifino, he's supposed to be, Tony D'Angelo sent me down here. He sent you down there because he doesn't know what he's doing. Okay? He just probably said, hey, go do what you want to do. For all you know, he thought you were going to probably go pick up his dry cleaning. He didn't know where you were going. So you're down at Evolve with all this great young talent. You could have got Javier Bernal. No.
I mean, he had a match with him.
You could have, what was it, Cyrus, the guy who you fought a couple of weeks ago. Like, I'm in charge. No, that's why Stevie Turner's the GM and you're not. Okay, yeah. She's in charge. And if it was up to her, she probably wouldn't have you that, I'm in charge. Like, in charge of what? Catering? Because you couldn't get one person to recruit, to help the Don, who's supposed to have all this power. You couldn't get one person to do a 4-on-4 match.
Not one person from Evolve that you're working in exclusively.
It's like, I understand NXT, okay, fine, I get it. But you're at Evolve. You could have got somebody.
My boy Sean Legacy probably would have joined you.
Right. Somebody.
Cappuccino Joe.
We just named 5 people. At least 4 to 5 people that could have helped. Riley Osborne. Like, come on. Like, what are we doing here? David Rosca. Will and should stick. Oh my God. I think David's SummerSlam. It's 2 nights, but which night though, David? That's important. Which night? Because now SummerSlam
have to hear Fiend. I'll be happy.
What? Oh, you'll hear Kerr. You're gonna hear that. You're gonna hear that.
I don't ever want to hear that song in my lifetime.
Hey pal. Hey pal, you're gonna hear. Hey, play that Travis Scott song. No, we're not.
I will pull an Undertaker. I'll be in my grave, and then they try to play. Poof!
No, I'm gonna pull off those shades when he got back when he got drafted. I'm gonna go like this. Just pull the shades in disgust.
That was one of my favorite draft moments.
So you didn't want to go to listen, pal. Nobody listen. Hey, I get it. Listen, it's but as for the match, I expected it to go that way. I'm not people because listen, I said on this show that I said that Stacks was going to turn on. I said that because you know why I said it, because D'Angelo doesn't know what he's doing, and Stacks sees it has more sense than the consigliere. Like the consigliere is supposed to know something. Like, oh, he trusted you. Yeah. See, the smartest thing Tony ever did was put Stacks as the underboss. That's the smartest thing he did. Because he's the one that had sense. And then in the tag match, you act like you didn't want to tag in. But he was there was a numbers game? Oh, you don't say.
Dark State tried to pull one over on me. Really, Tony?
And then when Luca got knocked into outer space, so now it was 4-on-2, essentially. Because Rizzo took out the one guy. So, I'll take it back. So the odds became even, and then Luca, so now it became uneven again. And then people are like, you should have betrayed. Listen, you know what? And then what happened with NXT? Hey, Luca, hey, good. Good. It's like, hey, listen, you're no different than Tony. Hey, why are we driving all the way out in the desert? We could do this in the parking lot.
That was something I was thinking, by the way.
Like you couldn't meet at a Starbucks or anywhere, or you could meet at
places.
Like you could meet you could meet in the parking lot of a McDonald's or something. Hey, let's go to the furthest place in the desert in Nevada. Which if people don't know, I have
no coverage on my phone. That's weird.
Man, I can't hear. Hey, and then the fade to. Oh my god, good. Hey, what happened to? Hey, where's Luca? Hey, things happen. Hey, yeah. First of all, like the fact that he found them, like it wasn't like, oh, just drive out further and you'll see a car. All right, cool. Like the whole location thing. Okay, cool. But going back to the match, it was fine. But once again, numbers are important, and Tony D demanding answers. No, you know what you need to demand. You need to get your money back from your elementary school teacher, because I know you're not supposed to listen. Like this, what you want? Hey, why should we pay teachers more? That's why.
Kids don't be like Tony D.
Can't do math.
Hello, CDouble.
Greg
and my tribal chief.
Greg, my wise man.
Yes.
Remember, I'm still, still a trial. It's different name. We all have the same roles.
Yep. Now, Craig, just so you know, Ladarius is now Ladarius freaking Brown.
And if we're on Netflix, I can change that freaking to something else. So
yes, and he's a revolutionary, a visionary, and he has a wise man, and he has a Braun Breaker. But anyway, that means I can be Braun Breaker. Yeah. I can even do Steiner math. All right, look, this match for me went down. This match went downhill for me as soon as he was mad about not getting the tag.
Right, I'm like, why are you upset? He's cooking. He's upset.
It's like this man's got more vested in this rivalry than you do, and they kicked your ass.
Oh, I negotiated. This is what you did, okay, pal? You did this.
This is the same as a tag match. Hold on.
Oh, wait. Why is it Franklin? Why is it Franklin?
You don't have to be that censored there, Craig.
Franklin?
He kind of has to. He's got 5 kids, so
Man.
So we'll give him a pass.
We'll see. It's gonna be an awkward lunch tomorrow, wise man.
We'll get it working. Don't worry.
Don't worry.
We'll get all the bugs kicked out.
Don't worry. You're paying the tab. We were going to a buffet. Now we're going to a steakhouse because of that comment.
Yep.
And by the way, I don't eat those sirloins either. So I hope you bring. I'll bring my appetite. You bring your wallet.
Better be thick. All right. So, but yeah, that match. The best part was Stacks turning on him, and then of course on NXT the whole desert scene, and of course I love it. Vic Joseph's like, where do you think they got Bruce Vito and Corey without missing a beat? I don't know. He's in the desert. He'll be all right. Like,
exactly. He'll be all right.
Like, you know what? This is why Corey is such a great announcer, especially that first part. What he said about what was it? Vic's like, I know you guys are, you feel for Pat McAfee, and they're like, no, we don't. It's like, I'm like, thank you. And Corey goes, maybe he'll need to keep his mouth shut. Just know, I'm not going to be your friend. I ain't going to try to save you. And I'm like, I'm over here doing this slow golf clap. And then Booker, you got to know when to shut your mouth. I'm like, uh-oh, look at Booker. He was mad about the Stephanie Vetcore comments.
Yeah, that's what he was mad.
Hey, you know what? He should have been. All right. Fatal 4-Way. Look, this match was amazing in all the right places. Stephanie Vetcore defended the belt against, hey, Pat, Michael Cole, just listen. I know y'all are, Pat went to sleep, but I'm going to help y'all out. Kalani Jordan was in the ladder match. So we had Julia, we had Jada Parker, and Jordan Grace, who looks nothing like Kalani Jordan, against Stephanie Vetcore. And Pat, when you wake up, it's Vetcore, not Vetcore. Like, what the hell is it? Like, got the damn Tourette's going. But anyway. So what did you think about this match? And if you want to go ahead and comment on the match that we saw with Stephanie and Roxanne also.
Yeah. Listen, great Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, like, I agree with Chris. The announcer seemed rattled. Listen, Pat, Listen. Don't drink on the job. I can't. But I think the theme for WrestleMania for weekend is put the booze down. Like, okay, like
and remember, if you're gonna pray, just make it for the day.
Oh, to make it for the weekend. Now let's focus. Let's break it down 24 hours at a time. Because
Booker T was out.
Like Booker said, he was praying. Yeah, he was thinking about Stephanie back.
Yeah, he was at the altar.
He's like, I'm gonna call the match. I'm gonna get some rest in. But
he was.
Let's say a lot of lessons were learned on WrestleMania weekend. A lot of lessons.
Don't get an ATV again.
Like, well, I want you guys to make it home safe. 16 wisers later. And then what was funny, he walks over and Nick Khan's there. And Nick probably told him, you can't drive us out of here, right? All right, I'll walk back up. Like, no, this is a crime scene now. What are you doing? It's officially a crime scene.
Well, don't worry. It's not like Cena and Cody were going to do any high spots in their match.
Yeah. So, like, just leave it there. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I think I know what's going to happen. But anyway, going back to the match, I think Stephanie Vetcore, winning it, retaining it was fantastic. I think I kind of feel that we might get Stephanie Vetcore versus potentially maybe, I don't know if we'll get Roxanne again or potentially maybe Julia, because I don't know. I think it's like I say, as I've learned, like I'm trying not to focus on what's next for someone and just try to enjoy the ride. But like I say, that match, she put on with Io Sky was so good.
Yeah.
And it's like, I tell people, like, and we'll keep saying it, and I'll keep saying it. When you look at that women's division, they put on a great match. Like, of course, Roxanne came in, whatever.
Yeah.
But it was still great nonetheless. And like I say, Jordan Grace, Julia, and Miss Parker did a fantastic job. Like I say, the women kind of stole this PLE, and I can argue WrestleMania weekend.
Yeah,
like that Charlotte Tiffany thing. For us, imagine us saying that of all the women's matches, that we would say that Tiffany and Charlotte was the worst women's match. If I don't think any of us had that on our card. Or I'll put it this way. well, no, here's the thing. Here's why I say that.
Okay, I get
we thought all of them were going to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Like, there's no such thing as a bad, but by comparison is what I'm saying. I'm not trying to say all these women's matches, no, but by comparison, that people didn't look highly on that match, it says a lot.
Yeah.
And like I said, this match, absolutely amazing, and even the match with, although we didn't get a conclusive finish, the match with Io and Stephanie Vaquero was great as well.
Yeah. And then the match with Roxanne, I thought was really good. Look, what a show! If you're showcasing Stephanie Vaquero, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
I mean, what a weekend!
As Booker T. Huffman.
Yes. I mean, like I said, and Stephanie did something even better. She made Booker T even more famous, because after Monday Night Raw, she was giving a shout out to Booker T when she went for the devil kiss.
He was on his phone. Oh, shucky ducky quack.
Like he had a tear going down his eye as she was doing the move, and he was about to,
there goes my hero.
And then when Gunther choked Pat out, he's like, "Thank you, Pat." He called Gunther, "Hey, you know what he did to Stephanie? I heard. You know what to do." Yes. Booker T put the hit on him. So, yeah. See, now Gunther doesn't look so bad, does he? He's a real American hero. All right, so from Austria, I thought this match was awesome. And look, when I look at WrestleMania card, the triple threat with Io, Bianca, and Rhea was the best. But this match is like a close 1B. It's like right up there. And then the Charlotte and Tiffany match. Well, if here these two right here, they're neck and neck. Well, Charlotte has dropped this match so far down, I can't find it. So it's all good. So, Tiffany, I'm just glad you survived. All right. Now, look, we're saying the women's match was really good and everything. Let me make this very clear. The men's triple threat match was not ass. This match was amazing, to the point that even Obafemi had to give a shout out to Javon Evans. That match was spectacular. I thought for what they got, what they had in front of them, what they had to fit, back. Man, Trick even was pulling out stuff I haven't seen in a bit. So, I mean, man, if you can't watch NXT and appreciate that this is the future, there's something wrong with you. That's all I can say. Oba, Trick, Javon pulled out a damn good show. What do you think about it? And what do you think about the ruler, Oba, taking it home? But
listen, I think the question we got to start asking, who can beat Oba Femi? And
are we asking that question to go, who could beat Oba Femi? On the main roster or in NXT?
Yeah. And to me, I expand that question to the main roster.
Yeah, me too.
at this point, because no disrespect to NXT, I can't think of one single wrestler. Like, at some point, maybe if you build it, but I'm talking like right now in the moment, I can't think of anybody. And like I said, Javon Evans, the young man is going to be 21 soon, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, that's your future. Yeah. NXT is about a combination of the present and the future of this business of WWE. And you saw that. Like, look who's come out of NXT. And you saw a lot of people come on NXT at WrestleMania. And a lot of them were the future down at NXT, and now they're stars. They're the present, and some are still the future.
Mm-hmm.
It goes to show you that NXT, yes, is a developmental by name, but you could argue it's a low-key, legit third brand. Because it not only combines, like, you got the youth, but there's plenty of experience down at NXT. And we saw that in this match. We saw, even as young as Javon Evans is, he has a little bit of experience. Trick, a former champion. Oba winning, it's gonna, man, like, he just has it. The swag, the charisma. He proves it in the ring. Like, he checks a whole lot of boxes. And you saw in this match, and like I said, Javon Evans shine and Oba Femi. Oh yeah, he, like you said, he shouted him out. Like, that young OG, that's gonna be a star. And then I saw Craig comment, Mr. Williams had some new tricks and not the street kind. Now, like, yeah.
Look, we're not talking about that guy. He's not in WWE, so that's ESPN's problem.
Oh, we're talking about shit.
Not gonna talk about, brother. Not my lane.
Man, not good.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Oba's going to be something special. And you said who could beat? Man, I want to see him and Evans one more time by themselves. I want to see that. They showed me they could do it. Yeah. And it's like, I want to see it. I would love to see him and Ricky, but that's about it. Because I think
bigger. Look, listen, I wouldn't be mad at Oba and Gunther somewhere down the line either.
Oh, no. I was more thinking like NXT because
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'll be quiet.
You have to move the belt, but now main roster, shoot. I mean, hold on. No. Gunther, you have Rusev, you have I mean, there are guys all over the place. And when Bronson Reed comes back, Jacob Fatu. I mean, Lord Jesus, we're gonna have some. Oba's gonna have plenty of meals to go around.
No shortage of options.
Yeah, so I look forward to it. So that was NXT, and look, we weren't gonna cover everything NXT off the show, but I will say this: awesome to see the Chase U thing coming back.
Oh God.
Yeah, I'm a little scared about that, but I'm like,
where did they get the funding? Did they do a GoFundMe?
Hold on. Did they do another girls' calendar again?
Well, they sold out.
Zach Morrison. Zach Morrison is trash.
Zach Morrison is trash. Yeah, he was. Zach Morrison, but first of all, I'm glad you mentioned that. Zach Morrison be in jail because I'm pretty sure everybody in that calendar wasn't 18. So, like,
I want to see the consent forms. That's all I ask.
Yeah, it's like, I'm trying to get a calendar. Hey, can I get a calendar? Like, to save Chase U? Oh, they were sold out, but it wasn't on the site. Okay. Let's see. Now, Sierra says, I'm so into it. I couldn't stop myself. I love what they're doing. I hope they continue. Yeah, it was so good.
Yeah.
It was. But seriously, I'm mad I didn't get that calendar, though.
I know, me too.
And you know what? Zach Morris is trash. And like I said, that whole series, by the way, if you haven't gone and see like the whole series of Zach Morris is trash, like the one where he was absolute trash is remember when the car got crashed? Watch that one. Because when you're young, like you're a teenager, like when you're young and you're watching that, you're thinking, oh man, Zach's trying to do the right thing. But when you when you get older, you go, man, Zach was really trash. It's like the Power Ranger.
You watch the stuff as a kid and you just kind of just go, oh man. And then when you watch as an adult, you watch and you go, how can I be so stupid to believe this was actually a possibility?
It's like the Power Rangers. Oh, I apologize. No, as a kid, I loved the Red Ranger. Okay, I didn't see what you were doing, but when I got older and they had reruns, when I got to high school, and I'm like, Oh, but listen, the black rate, it clicks, and he like, listen, don't apologize. We were kids, we didn't know. I'm not justifying what you did, pal, but we found out when we were adults. Like you targeted to our kids. We saw colors, we saw putties and Rita and Zord. Yeah, we weren't paying
holograms.
Yeah, that hologram was racist. I'll tell you that much. But
Man,
anyway,
that's what every time I see hologram, I think of the putties. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, y'all stop.
AKA those in wrestling terms, those are jobbers.
Yeah, they are, or the red shirt Star Trek guys. That's why I would always laugh when they would be winning. I'm like, come on, you really are losing to a bunch of putties. Come on.
Hey, Kurt, what are we doing here?
Yeah,
Picard, like these guys. What are we doing? Bro, we have
send the red
lasers.
shirts in.
We have lasers. Why are we trying to fight these?
Why are we trying to be intellectual?
How you solve that? Bzz, there you go. We're done. All right. I got some spaceship spaghetti in here. Let's wrap it up.
Randy Orton talking about, or not Randy, but John Cena talking about dates. And, basically from 36 to now 27. And all he has to do is just talk. And then my favorite line was, Cody was your last best hope. And y'all booed him. He's like, y'all some heartless bastards. And they're saying, we are sorry. We are sorry. He's like, no, they're not sorry. And I'm going, damn. I'm like, you know what? I hate the WWE universe. Because you people really are the heels. But Randy Orton shows up. RKO's Cena. I love the whole picture point. Brings me back to something because it says, get your cameras out, take your pictures. And I'm going, man, I miss those days when, back in the day when you did like a really epic move, the light bulbs all around and it's like taking the picture in moments. I'm like, we don't get that because of these stupid phones and they don't, it's like, man, that sucks. You don't get what used to be that like that, man. It's anyway, it made me go, oh, I'm old. So yeah, there it was that. Now, Ladarius, we're going to be talking about somebody you really like, but I need to ask a question objectively because, Bubblegum Pat and idiot Michael Cole kept calling Liv and Lyra a great tag team. They won the tag titles. They were going to defend the titles. They're a great tag. They kept saying they were a great tag team.
Oh, you mean Becky and Lyra?
Yeah.
You said Liv and Lyra.
No. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. I thought I said Becky.
Yeah, no, I thought you heard Liv. Maybe, yeah.
Okay. But so anyway, so Liv and Raquel are going against them. They win. And quite honestly, the move where, Lyra takes out Becky by accident, I didn't even think she got her in the move. I thought she missed her. But what did you think of the match and what did you think about what happened after? And then are they still a great tag team? Because Michael Cole and Pat McAfee were saying that they are still a great tag team regardless, apparently.
Well, listen, at this point, Becky and Lyra are as great as a tag team as if you mix oil and water together. That's how great of a tag team they are. That's how great of it. Doesn't matter who's the oil and who's the water. Hey, they're a great tag team. Not around here, player.
That'd be like Tony Atlas with Ludwig Borga.
Hey, how do we know what's a great tag team? Let's put Hulk Hogan with someone who looks like me. Oh, did that ever happen? No, it didn't. There's a reason why that didn't happen. Yeah. I gotta work with Junkyard. That would work for me, brother.
There are a couple of times he teamed up with Junkyard.
Actually, I don't count it. It's erased from the.
Actually, you don't have to because I don't think you were around at that time when they tag team.
Oh, I'm young. Oh, thank you.
Yes, you are young and vibrant, and you don't have to remember the younger years of Hogan. I'm trying to save you.
I can go back and watch it and still be angry. Like,
oh yeah, I know.
I can be angry at Hogan all over again. Oh wait, I can show the RKO. Hey, let's show that RKO again, please. Let's run it back.
You know, one day I'm gonna get all these videos that you keep talking about running back. I'm gonna just start playing them all as you're going.
Man, that Hogan. Let me tell you something. Before I get into my thoughts, let me tell you something. That RKO on Hulk Hogan on the back of a car looked like it was a Cadillac or look like a nice model car.
Yes. Oh, man. And it was funny because you heard him go, "Oh, brother."
Guess what? We were supposed to root for Hogan. Not around here, player. Not around here. At a Kroger's, hey, not gonna work for me, player.
Yeah.
I actually have you book to appear with Hogan. Listen, if you have me appear with Booker, like that's different.
I would love to interview Booker. So yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Let's get Harlem Heat. Let's get everybody with Hogan.
Yeah, bring them at the
You're going to see Harlem Heat and me up against Hulk Hogan versus no one else.
We'll even call Tony Atlas to draw the painting of it.
Hey, I get to beat up Hulk Hogan. All right, let's go.
But I'll give him a deal. I'll have him buy my wife's shoes.
Oh my god! I got some beautiful sneakers for you. Ta-da! Like you don't have to say ta-da. Ta-da! Like, okay, we'll work on that. We'll work on it.
Yeah, I love Tony Atlas. All right, so yeah, let's talk about that tag match.
So let me. The only issue that I had, is that why would you have them? A part of me understands why you have them win, and then have them to lose it. But to me, you could have. I guess they didn't want to. You could have did. Could you? I don't think you didn't want to do the heel turn at WrestleMania because Becky's return. I get that, but heel Becky was going to happen, and before the match happened, I said, "Oh man, she's gonna turn on her," because I had a feeling that there was gonna be no long run. Liv and Raquel, give them the belts; they can do much more with them. And listen, it tied into. See, the problem is it tied into what I had said. I wanted Becky versus Lyra at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
but we can end up getting Becky versus Lyra potentially at SummerSlam.
Yeah.
Oh, correct, Becky Hogan. No, okay, let me time out. Time out. Because I see this a lot.
I didn't say it.
I know, and I love my wise man. I love it. But I gotta say something, and I'm not saying because I'm a Becky Lynch fan, but here's the thing: unlike Terry Bollea, Becky Lynch has put over people. Becky Lynch has put over a lot of women in that women's division. In fact, and put over Lyra Valkyria herself while she was at NXT.
Yeah,
she put over Tiffany Stratton when they had that match at NXT. She's put over plenty of women on that. She has the ability. I'm just saying it up for you. You know what? That's why you're a good wise man. You're a good wise man. And because, listen, I can name. Listen, there's other people where you can take their last name, take their first name and put it next to Hogan's. Becky never I think people just have a predisposition about not liking Becky Lynch. And this is what I've always said. If you don't like someone, just say you don't like them. Don't throw, I won't say accusations or throw, I think the way they're being, no. You can have a predisposition against someone and it makes you not objective. Listen, I love Becky Lynch. And and me saying it may not come off to have the same vibes. But here's the thing. Bayley, women in this division have put people over. And listen, and some people, when I look at, I can argue that what Mercedes Moné is doing at AEW, I think, is she being called Mercedes Hogan? Because I love Mercedes Moné. I love her. But I want somebody to tell me how many women she's put over since she showed up at AEW. I'm going to take a little sip break here. I'll let you guys think of an answer.
Nyai.
That was delicious. So nobody. I think is the
No
answer.
one.
And I'm not trying to knock Mercedes Moné. It goes to booking. It's how you book someone. People say, "Oh, we gotta blame the wrestler." I blame. You know why people blame Hulk Hogan? Because he was the booker.
Yeah,
That's why. He may not have been booker by name. You know, especially in the early, like in the 80s, he wasn't like a booker by name, but he was definitely a guy. If he didn't want you to go over, he was the guy in the middle of the paint when you're driving down the court and you're thinking, "Oh, Mama Duncan, here comes Hulk Hogan," blocking it. That's Hogan. That's Hogan. So people like I blame the booking for Mercedes. I'm not blaming her direct. People want to say, "Oh, well, Becky, yes, does Becky have a say? Yes, and she has earned every right to have a say. Whether some of you fans, whether some fans like it or not, she's earned that right to have a say. Like I said, if anything, she's put over women in that division.
Yeah.
And like I said, I thank you, Craig, for getting the old energy because it's a legitimate thing that I feel has to be addressed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I think people just have this predisposition. It's like she doesn't put like I can say the same thing about Mercedes Moné, and I feel that and I can be very objective. Because listen, it's like I just want someone to name me who she's put over. Because she's been there a year now.
Yeah, it's about a year. She's about to win the women's title.
So that means she would hold every single women's belt in that company, correct? More or less. Outside of the Ring of Honor Women's Championship.
I mean, she might get that too.
So how many women has she put over in the year that she's been there? I'm not saying you go in and you start losing matches to them. I'm not trying to say that. What I'm saying is, how are you progressing the division? Because people may not like what Becky's doing, but I tell you who's it going to help in the long run? It's going to help Lyra Valkyria again. Because what were we talking about with these women's singles belts? Credibility. Like up to now, respectfully, Becky Lynch will be the biggest opponent that Lyra Valkyria will face for that Intercontinental Championship. And it's no disrespect to no other woman in that division. It's just that Becky Lynch it's all those women are talented in their own right. It's just in that regard, that's the match you want. And people, and I'll say this and I'll turn it back over to you. I just want people to understand. When we start, booking, like we got to stop this tribalism nonsense. Okay? Like listen, it's like an umpire favoring calls for one team. Okay? You simply can't do that. When you're supposed to be in the position of, when you're a fan, if you call yourself a wrestling fan, you're supposed to call it like you see it, like an umpire does. Now, like umpires, you're not perfect. You're going to make a mistake or two, but you're supposed to be objective. And I think, just say if you're a WWE fan, you're an AEW fan, if you're just a fan of one company, that's fine. But if you're a fan of one company, you don't have the right to trash another company when you can't take off those rose-colored glasses and look at your own company. Now, if you call yourself a wrestling fan, just as much as you watch WWE, I've seen TNA. Like I got to catch up on NWA. I've seen New Japan. Listen, I even watch AEW. Because why? Because I'm not going to sit up here and not trash a brand and not give it a shot. And I think when people make comments, and like I say, it's not a knock on Craig, my wife. I know he was joking and being, but some people legit say Becky Hogan, and I'm like, I'm sorry, you're an AEW fan, and your women's champion is who? And how many belts does she have? Yeah, Becky. Yeah, she was Becky 2 belts. What is it, Mercedes every belt?
Yeah, she's got about 5.
So if you can, like I said, if you're a fan of a company, then don't trash another company. If you're a wrestling fan, you can have to be a greater perspective, because you can't trash WWE if you're an AEW fan, and you can't, and vice versa. It's like, if you're a WWE fan, don't trash AEW without looking internally. So all I'm saying is, I don't like the listen. I agree. I may not like the way we got to the Becky heel turn, but we're here nonetheless. And if you want to blame somebody, blame creative.
Okay.
Don't go blaming Becky Lynch, Becky Hogan, whatever you want to call her, because at some point it becomes very repetitive. It's like when you trash a city. Like, have you been to that city? Like, if you haven't been to, oh, that city sucks. Have you been there? No, then shut up. I'm done. Okay. Sorry for taking the majority of the time, folks.
No, you're fine. All right. Let me put it this way. So with Mercedes, she has creative control. Okay. She has final say over creative control. That's what Hogan had. So guess what? That comparison you can go with. I don't know about Becky. All right. And I don't know what creative was doing with the whole Bailey thing. That was one thing I think everyone could have talked about. Now, my thing was this, and this is what I was going to say. All I thought would have been better is have Becky return. Becky doesn't lose, but Lyra takes the L, and she beats the hell out of Lyra for embarrassing her at WrestleMania. You've already had the story written. But it happened. They got
right. Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not bitching about it, because again, Becky has done what a lot of people wouldn't do. So I'm not gonna, be an ass about it.
Yeah.
All I say is this. It just didn't, it's like, no matter how you try to explain, it just doesn't come off right. But it happened, and now look, what I would suggest is this. If Becky is now a heel, let her team with Paul Heyman, so we can finally have a Heyman woman.
Yeah. Oh, man. By the way. I have a thought on the back end. Yeah.
Yeah, that's the big rumor. Now, and you do that, what happens? Now you have her with her husband, and she wins the title. She defends it. Maybe you get her a heater. Whatever.
Yeah.
And next thing you know, now she could establish Lyra the way Lyra should have been, because you had no real person to actually put her truly to cement her. And you could hold that off as long as you could. Maybe have it at SummerSlam. Mm-hmm. That's going to be a 2-night show too.
Exactly. So,
I see the benefit with it. I'm not crushing it. It's just
right. Yeah. See, I think we're on the same accord there. I'm sorry, I need to go, but we're on the same accord. It's like, no one's trashing how it happened, because it happened.
Yeah.
It's just.
And the only thing I will make fun of is the freaking announce team, because first thing that happened that really aggravated me, and I was saying to myself, man, maybe I'm just being a guy that just can't stand McAfee. But when Raquel was speaking in Spanish to him, and he told her to
he can't speak English. I'm like, bro,
and I was aggravated, and I'm going, look, I'm Puerto Rican, but my parents didn't teach me. My dad actually then later confided in me, as he's older now, that he never learned it, and he learned trash Spanish. So he picked it up here and there, and he tries the best he can with it. But he doesn't try to say he speaks Spanish, because it sometimes doesn't make sense. So,
right.
So, or as I like to say, he has the Ubonic Spanish. So, for her, you could tell she could communicate easily in Spanish. And for him to say that, I just was so aggravated. It already was it was already a nosedive because it's like you've had 4 days of you've had 3 days of WrestleMania. You've had that WrestleMania kickoff. You had the Hall of Fame. You've had enough of Pat McAfee at this point. That was too much Pat McAfee anyone should ever ask for. But we'll deal with him a little bit later. New Day comes out. They want to brag about their titles. Not really talked about New Day in this one. More like I was impressed of all people. Maxine Dupree came out with Otis and Tozawa. And I wanted to go, where has this Maxine been? Charismatic, getting the crowd into it, to the point that it was like she had the more attention than they did.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Minuteman thing. But look, it's a special day when somebody comes back on Rusev Day. And Rusev came back on Rusev Day.
I mean, that's so good. So good.
The lights, and then you heard Rusev. I'm like, yes. I know they're going to Def Rebel this thing to death, but that's fine. Give me Rusev. But, man, slim down. He doesn't look, but my thing is this. Rusev is still a badass. What do you think about Rusev? I mean, look, there was never going to be a tag title match, folks. I hate to break it to you. Because Rusev decided to dismantle the Alpha Academy. But what do you think about it?
Listen, Rusev showing up on Rusev Day?
It's beautiful.
First of all, we were blessed to have that. Number one. Number two.
We just needed one person, Aiden English, singing Rusev Day, and it would have been best.
Yes. Go to TNA. I need you to get in the car. What?
Get in the car. Joe Hendry, you're the lawyer, you're the singer. Get over here.
You see, Tom. Hey, what are you gonna do? Get somebody else, pal.
Bring Pat McAfee to be a part of the exchange talent. Yes, wise man. True words couldn't have been more spoken.
I think the reason why he left is because they were AEW property. I think that's why.
I think Rusev, one of those, he just left in his boxers and said, I don't want that.
Nah. Property of AEW? Nah. I got my own stuff now. What? All right. But seeing Rusev is awesome. Look, like you said about Maxine, it's like, people like listen when you give it time, like she was very impressive, very impressive, and not only that, this wasn't so much about the New Day. I think the takeaways were like with Maxine on the mic, and I think just Rusev showing up and just doing Rusev stuff. And it's like it may have seemed like awkward for him to come out and debut back, but like listen, there was the opportunity. His job is destruction. Mm-hmm. He destroyed everybody in that ring who was a wrestler.
Yeah.
And then him and the showdown with him and Otis was fantastic. And it's just like, listen, Rusev Day is always a great day. Mm-hmm. And to have Rusev come back on Rusev Day, and then the sky is the absolute limit for Rusev. And I'm excited.
And by the way, big ups. Him and Lana are back together.
Yeah.
She's actually in the back. I think that's awesome. I think that's
It goes to show you, folks. Listen, hey, sometimes love, you make a little exit, but you get back on that freeway of love. Mm-hmm. In a pink Cadillac. It's not a song I'm writing all this on the fly. Now,
pink Cadillac.
And then I think Lana signed a Legends deal as well. I think
that's what I heard too. She signed a Legends deal. So let's talk about this. Io Sky. She had a really cool promo, actually. I mean, for someone that doesn't really do promos, I thought she did a really good job. And you could tell her excitement. And then you heard the music. And let me tell you something. Blue on a Monday Night Raw never looked so much good. The horns were out, and the only thing we were missing was a Booker T. I mean,
Booker T hopping in his car. I got somewhere to be.
Triple H is like, holy crap. Or it's like, no, these white guys don't know how to properly bring Stephanie in. Sean, call Booker. I got the Booker light on. Kind of looks different.
They play the music. Da, 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 da,
Ooh. I used to love that part in the song.
No Spinneroonie, but it's still effective.
It is. Look, that music, man, I still love it. It's like you hear it, you just start,
like if you go clubbing, that's
hold on. They say wrestling music you can't club to. Trust me, there's some good wrestling music you could dance to.
Like you can jam the Steve Blackman song if you or the Dan Severn song if you really just
Yeah, Dan Severn you could boogie more than you could Blackman. Blackman was way too serious. So all right.
Steve Blackman.
So throughout this, Stephanie's being respectful and saying, I would love to have a match with you. And then he goes like, you want to wrestle me? And I'm going, oh, Jesus. I'm like, what idiot's going to say no? And then I hear Adam Pearce. I'm going, dude, don't you dare be a heel.
You
guys,
let
the devil kiss in this thing.
You guys want to see this? Yeah. All right. And then a ref.
All right. We got the baby lotion in the back.
Wait,
we didn't
what?
need to know that.
That's baby. I thought it was cooking oil. Oh no.
Oh
no. Tell Dom to put down those chicken tendies. Why? Just tell him to put them.
Man, look, and Jessica Carr got to referee this match. Oh my God, this match went. They were able to go everywhere, but they did such a good job with this match.
Yeah.
For a match that didn't have a lot of time, they got a lot in.
Yeah.
Io and Stephanie. What do you think about this?
And I think their styles is what made it work. I think the way that Valkyr and Io Sky, their styles made it compact. And we kind of talked about this a little bit earlier with Starks and Paige, where not a lot of time, but chemistry and your style goes a long way. Mm-hmm. So if they say, hey, I'm going to give you 7-8 minutes, then it doesn't seem like a lot to us as fans, but to them, oh, we can do this, and this, and still come out great, which it did before Roxanne came in. Like, I wouldn't be upset if we see this again at some point. I wouldn't be upset at it. But to me, CW, what made this match great is that it's always cool to see when you see like the Raw, like the pay-per-view, like the Raw after WrestleMania, they're always good. Yeah. Like even if you didn't like WrestleMania, the Raw after WrestleManias have been pretty good the last couple of years. And now you're starting to see like the crossover. You're seeing NXT crossing over the main. And that's why I said what I said earlier, where NXT is a legit third brand. Yeah. Even though it's developmental, the match was great. And listen, I wouldn't be shocked. Listen, if Io, makes her way down to NXT, and maybe gets the get back. All the young people know what I'm saying. So I don't need to explain it. All the young people in the audience, if you're an older member of the audience, we'll have a conference after the show.
So, we'll have a flyer, and you'll be able to read it all.
Yeah, exactly.
What is this get back? All right. So my impressions of this match, I loved it. And I honestly said to myself, I wish Vic and Booker T was calling it. And I'm not even being funny. It was because they know. And when Pat McAfee said, Stephanie Vakwan, what?
Yeah, you heard that too? And I'm like, bro.
She's in your company. Now, hold on. The Raquel thing, as bluntly ignorant as that was, I could deal with it to a point.
Right.
But, dude, this woman is the face of female lucha libre. I don't care what anyone tells me. She is.
And by the way, yeah, she's the NXT Women's Champion.
Yeah,
she's literally the. How do you not know? It's like not knowing who your boss is.
Yeah.
Okay, it's not like take what I mean to cut you off. I apologize, but it's like take literally 5 minutes to learn the name.
Yeah.
That's the least. That's your colleague. What if somebody said Pat McAfee, McAfee? Like, what if they screwed up your name? You'd be the first one going on your show.
Go, hey, Pat McAfee.
Like, oh, dog, that's not cool. Well, how do you think Stephanie Vaquer feels when you mispronounce her name?
Yeah, she's the champion. And by the way, Chilean descent. So she could tell you, hey, there's a way you say it. This is how you say it. She was that way with Bully Ray. She told Billy Ray when she came in, she didn't know how to speak English. That's why she wanted to be in NXT, so she could learn.
Yeah, her and Julia kind of talked about how they learned English, and that's the thing. If they're taking the time to learn our language, the least you could do, the absolute core, bare minimum, is you learn their name. No one's asking you to be.
Learn their name, 1. Number 2, learn the moves.
Yes.
And Michael
I was gonna say that's number 2 as well.
Oh yeah. And Michael Cole, when she did the Devil's Kiss, and Michael Cole goes, "Oh, I guess this is why Booker gets a heart attack. I don't know." And Pat goes, "What's the big deal?" And I'm going, commentary plays a very important role.
Yeah, because they tell a story, and boy,
the wrestler is.
Yes.
They almost killed this woman's debut.
Yeah. And now you're like, you know what? Maybe we should send her to SmackDown.
Yeah. And honestly, I would look at her and go, it's not you problem. It's these chuckle fucks. And I don't want you to have to interact with them.
Because it feels like Tessitore and Wade would have a better grasp, because especially Wade was a low-key MVP of WrestleMania as well.
Oh God.
Because he was actually talking about the matches. He was telling the story. It's like I thought I understand. Yeah, it's like Corey. People look at Corey Graves' ability as a demotion. If anything, that was low-key a promotion, because he didn't have to be the third guy at WrestleMania. They said, well, because if Corey Graves, who ain't been in NXT not even 6 months, he has a grasp who Stephanie Vaquer is. It's like, but yet, how long has Pat been on the main roster?
3 years.
It's like I like I said, as you know, most people who know, I try to be super objective and try to be, but there's some things you can't ignore. And listen, Pat's been taking a lot of L's on commentary, and there's no disrespect, but when you screw up on the biggest stage, the biggest show the company has, and then you screw up on the night after the show of the biggest, when you start making comments about speak Spanish, speak English, and it's not great. If I'm Stephanie Vaquer, you'd want to go to SmackDown, because Stephanie Vaquer could have easily been on the main roster when she entered the company.
Oh, gotcha.
Easily.
Hold on, they were wanting to put her in the main roster.
Exactly. She easily, and that's what it was like. Easy. I can make the same case. Jordan Grace, same thing. But they wanted to learn, and by them doing so, you know what that means? They're dedicated to get better at their craft. So if you have wrestlers who want to get better at their craft, and listen, Michael Cole's a legend. He'll be in the Hall of Fame someday.
He will.
But at some point, brass tacks, when rubber hits the road here, how do you not know who Stephanie Vaquer is? How do you not know how to say her name? How do you not know the moves? And this is more importantly, this is super important. How do you not know how to call the match with her? Your job is to call matches. Like Vic and Booker would have been great at it, but it's your job. And it goes back to a lot of things, and I'll say this before we go on. Everybody, it's just shameful.
Yeah, it was.
Like Dre says, Jesse Ventura has rubbed off on McAfee, but it's a different time. I think Jesse, when he did Saturday Night Main Event, he actually ran circles around Pat McAfee.
He exposed Pat McAfee
Because
that was
whether
not
you
rubbing anything.
whether you love Jesse the Body or not, like Jesse came back in the year 2025. And like we're saying the year 2025 that Jesse Ventura running circles around Pat McAfee on commentary. What does that tell you? That's not good.
No.
Because
people go, oh, they need to move Jesse. No, I think Jesse exposed him properly. And I love that he was hanging with Joe Tessitore at times because I was like, there's your crew right there. So
Tess always shows up.
You know it. All right. And then what was cool was, so the match ended in a DQ for EO, but Julia showed up as well as Roxanne. So that kind of threw me off because, I'm thinking storyline wise, I'm going, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, see, that's why I said earlier. That's why I said I think they might run it back one more time.
Yeah.
Like I think, I'd put some money on that they would.
But Rhea Ripley comes out, helps, clears house with the black eye, and look, I'm gonna tell y'all something, folks. I love Rhea Bloody Ripley, and when she's not wearing makeup, I think she's the hottest woman on earth.
Yes. Remember?
I'm just gonna say.
I don't know if you remember, like years ago, they did the no makeup shoot. It was her, like Bianca. I think Io was a part of it. Carmella,
Raquel was.
Raquel was. Yeah. And I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It's
Rhea
like
it's just naturally beautiful.
It's natural. It's like I understand why you gotta wear the. I get it.
Yeah.
But like it's like the natural. Oh man, and listen. And here's the thing, folks. If you don't know, listen. I know it's SAT season for a lot of you young people out there trying to get into that school. So here's an easy answer to an SAT question. What I am to Becky Lynch is what CDouble is to Rhea Ripley. Damn. So I'll let you all. That's your free SAT question. And if you get that 1600, you're welcome.
Yeah.
What's in between that 1590 and 1600? That one question I gave you the answer to, and you refused to listen.
Yep. And if you didn't get it right, I don't know what I could do to help you. So
exactly.
And what I liked about it, by the way, was the cool part of Rhea just letting Io know, I am coming for this, but you're the champ.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Real recognized real. I thought that was a really cool spot. And I thought that match, like I said, man, if we get Io and Stephanie anytime, sign me up. Just put other guys in the announce team. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's just the way I feel. Jey Uso comes out because everybody needs a good yeet. All right, let's ask the big question though. Jay's doing his thing. He's talking, telling about how he's going to be the everyman's champ. The routine. Sami Zayn's music comes out. Sami talks, tells him how he felt, miss it, and how he wished he was there. And then there's a spot where he's like, let's celebrate, and they're doing the yeet. He gets off early of the turnbuckle, and everybody and their mom, I'm like going, oh God, no, don't. You've already turned too many people already. Don't turn Sami now.
Yeah, bro, they were teasing that. So, and I said this in a recent interview. You know what? The shout out to listen, the production. I love the production value that we're gonna get Netflix because when he was behind, because when Jay was on the top rope and then Sami was like lingering behind, you're like, oh no, you can't. No, don't. It was like the teasing, and then after a while, then Big Jim comes out, and then you're like, you feel a little bit better. But let me tell you something. That's how you what we saw. That's how you do it. You say it without saying it. You're teasing like, oh, Sami's gonna be next. You're like, they had similar journeys and paths. Jay completed his path, and Sami wants to complete his, even if it's through his best friend. Sami Uso, family versus family. So Rikishi has some explaining to do, but nonetheless, but.
He looks just like Jay. It's just crazy.
I was in Montreal back in 19. Yeah, wait, that was about like that SNL clip I sent you with
yeah.
Yeah, I was back in Arizona about that 17, 18 years ago.
Player. Uh-oh.
Oh, did I
hope Dave Meltzer wasn't watching WrestleMania or the Raw, because there was a whole lot of rappers also there.
Oh, what the?
Metro Boomin. Oh, and of course there was Quavo, and of course Michael Cole had to say, "That's my guy." I'm like,
you know what? Listen, I'm gonna say this. Can we? Nah, Cole, you need to show your playlist because you're gonna have.
You're right. I need to see this.
Listen,
playlist.
I bet you this man has Billy Joel, has Barry Manilow. This man, listen, and I'm not knocking.
I have more rap on my playlist than he does. I guarantee you.
And he probably has Billy Ocean, which is great, but suddenly, I'm not gonna believe
it. Yeah, and DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince is not gonna be acceptable for you there, bro.
Yeah, parents don't understand. No, we don't understand why he's doing it either. We don't get it either.
Oh my god! All right, so I'm gonna skip the Logan Paul interview because, quite honestly, I can't stand.
Nobody cares. That's a great call.
AJ Styles was talking, and of course, Karrion Kross came up with Scarlett. By the way, if you haven't seen it, it's the Sam Roberts. I think they did the WrestleMania podcast where Karrion Kross basically just tells people, to go F off or the suits. Look, they need to do something with Karrion Kross. Killer Kross, Karrion. I don't care. Just do something. This guy should be in your card for the title, Intercontinental Heavyweight. I don't care. Just give him a shot. It's getting ridiculous. This guy should have been in WrestleMania. I mean, I was like I'm like in my head fantasy book. That's why I said I don't even need the fantasy book because these guys don't even want to listen. So, but yeah, I love the whole interaction. If I did that win would have meant nothing. And I'm going, and Carrie's like, well, maybe I will. I'm going, wait a minute. Are you going to go after Logan Paul? Because if so, I want to see this now. Are you going to break him like baseball bats? Because if so, let's watch. But no, for real, what do you think about Karrion Kross and the whole stuff that he had to go through?
Oh, listen, breaking like a baseball bat or a glove. But how you breaking it? Forget it. Now it's you play baseball, you got to break in the glove. Anyway, if you play baseball, then you know what I'm saying. But but look, Karrion Kross. Listen, Karrion Kross cooked, and listen, he wasn't saying many lies. In fact, he said, I'll tell you how many lies he told. 0 times any number. That's how many lies he told. And for Tony D'Angelo, the answer is 0 because the math thing is. But he's probably great at multiplication. The addition can be tricky. But what I love about Karrion Kross's character, and it comes across and as authentic, genuine, and it easily connects. Most of the time, it's relatable to the fans. Like, mind you, that's the goal of every gimmick to do that. But for Karrion Kross, it's different. And it's like, let me tell you something. He does, like I keep saying, everybody else, and I said this recently, everybody else is playing checkers. Karrion Kross is playing chess. That's how great, like at WrestleMania, when the brass knuckles, like that was pure chess. He was trying to get Styles to use them. Styles threw them. He knows it's psychological warfare, because if you heard AJ after talk about it, Karrion got in his head. Mission accomplished. And what Karrion did, give him a push. Listen, this storyline he has with AJ Styles could lead to some very, very good things. And when you do it the right way, everybody comes out on top. So for Karrion, I just want him to because Karrion has kind of gotten the raw end of the stick. AOP is gone. Paul Ellering is gone. And now it's just him and Scarlett. And the fact that he's tried to maneuver himself in this position is just nothing short of fantastic in itself. Like I said, you can't. Karrion Kross is one of those guys on my list that is like he can't do no wrong, because like he could do wrong, but to me, he understands the business. He understands what he's doing, and to see it play out is absolutely fantastic.
Yep. All right, it's that time. Hold on. Karma is a beautiful thing, folks.
Hey, folks, you know this is the part where I'm going to turn. I'm still here.
No,
this is gonna be.
you gotta stay with me.
I'm not commenting on this.
You understand this?
Yeah, no. Do I though?
Yes, you do. Hold on. We just talked about what the disrespect.
Yeah, you're asking me to condone a man getting choked out in front of his family. Great.
Hold on. To be fair, he ain't got no family. He's got a bunch of yes boys that was trying to jump over the rail. He has no family.
You condone Pat Aloysius McAfee getting choked.
Do you see a screenshot of it? Yes, you do.
Yeah, and by the way, Carrie, we love you, but we're putting you owe some responsibility for this because you shouldn't have summed the picture.
I'd like to thank Carrie of the
because now Carrie, what I have to do
giving us this beautiful picture, because this is what happens when you run your mouth.
Oh, God.
And if you listen to Booker T, and if you listen to Corey Graves, by the way, has the phenomenal response to this happening. But Corey Graves said, well, when you run your mouth so much and you being a bunch of goobers, or
listen, Corey Graves and Batman. I think we got to understand that the Corey Graves probably did I think he stood up and cheered when he probably saw that.
Oh yeah. I think he was cheering harder than I was. But anyway, this was great because Gunther finally called out Pat and Michael for their bullcrap. And Michael had, of all the things, look, commentators, sometimes you just got to go, hey, I don't want no problems. Let it be. We're sorry. Our bad. Even if you don't mean it, you lie. Nah, Michael Cole's smart mouth decides to go, no, I'm not the one that tapped out. And then, Pat's trying to look like a goober. Well, Gunther decides to pie face him, and he gets gone to another dimension. And Michael Cole was all worried about Pat, forgot that he pissed off Gunther, and about got his put the night. But Pat, being the cheap shot artist that he is, forearm to the back of the head. I think that was very classless of Pat, especially with all the concussion talks, in the NFL. That just tells you what happens when you're addicted to weed and you don't listen to the details. So anyway, let's see. After that, Gunther, after Adam Pearce, who doesn't really know how to do a job right, decides to try to hold back Gunther. Well, here's the problem. Gunther wasn't going to be held by you. He went and grabbed Pat, and as you see, this beautiful shade of purple. I guess this is why you don't inhale. But anyway, homeboy got choked out. He got put to night-night by Gunther. Now, here's the thing. These fans, y'all are the heels. To say F you to Gunther, this is our hero. All heroes don't wear capes, pal. This man walked out there and took care of business. And you want to say F him? Nah. You people always wanting Pat to yeet all the time and loving on Pat. And Pat's great. Pat's awesome. Well, first of all, he doesn't respect the Spanish culture. I have a problem with that. And apparently he doesn't respect Mr. Gunther. And don't take my word for it because, I'm just a small little fan that's been a fan for over 30-something years. But anyway, let's look at a guy, I don't know, Booker T. And he says sometimes you need to shut your damn mouth. Corey Graves says sometimes you need to know where your place is. And Vic, don't you start running at the mouth because I'm not that good of a friend. So, by the way, WWE security. If patch midgets jump the barricade, arrest them. They have
wait now when that guy from AAA jumped over, shouldn't he have been arrested?
No, because he was a welcome guest by Triple H.
So if you're a welcome guest,
yes.
Okay.
Hold on, because they just announced that they own AAA.
No,
so
I'm well aware of that. But
owns Vikingo. So Vikingo was like, hey, this guy just ticked me off. There you go. And he wasn't going to attack anybody. He went to help Phoenix up.
I thought I moved the goalpost. My guy here is moving the whole football field. Like this guy, he's moving the whole stadium. Look.
Some say I'm moving it. I just think I am just setting new standards. That's all I'm doing.
Whatever you say to sleep easier at night, pal.
So, getting back to the regular screen, the real star in this wasn't Pat McAfee because he was doing that stupid coughing and, like he was really choking. He wasn't. And it wasn't Michael Cole who says, how are we supposed to do our jobs when we're getting bullied? No, you're not getting bullied. Y'all run your mouth off, popping your gums off, and expect no one to do something. Somebody did something. Somebody says, I wish an MFer would. Well, guess what? Gunther took care of it. And that is the CDouble minute. By the way, the real hero in all this, not just Gunther. Man, don't go messing with the test. That man showed up, put his jacket on the dang table, and he had his sleeves rolled up, had that chain showing. He was ready for some action. Well, there he is. You there?
Oh no, I'm here. I'm not gonna be privy to this. I'm not.
But you're not gonna give any shout out to Joe Tess, our guy.
Oh yeah, to the Test. Hey, my guy was in catering, eating, enjoying life, and this man came down, took off his jacket, didn't have to, and he was the real star. That stuff with Gunther and McAfee and Cole, that's superfluous in the historical books to me. The Test showed up to the plate, pinch hitting, bottom of the ninth, 2 outs, tie game,
Intercontinental title match.
You want to talk about clutch? Robert Horry, Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky, Joe Tessitore.
That's right.
Clutch.
Exactly. That man's the definition of professionalism. I love him. And Michael's like, he shouldn't have touched me. Oh, shut up, Michael. Grow up. You used to wrestle. You used to be in a protective shell. You want to bring that back? Go for it. You remember what happened last time?
Ain't no messing with the Test.
Oh, I'm telling you, if he tries to cross the Test, oh, son, watch out.
Listen here.
I will pay money for Test.
Listen, I'm a professional. You don't pull that with me, pal.
Hold on.
I call college football games with Jesse Palmer.
Hold on. He tries. Joe Tessitore almost goes, about to be put to sleep, and you see Tessitore reverse it and put Gunther to sleep. That's how you do it, Michael. You don't bitch like a little girl.
You gotta come from behind, and you gotta lock the arms together. Not whatever you did.
Don't go messing with the Test.
Somebody gonna get the Test whooped.
Mark Henry comes out and says, I give you this music. When Joe Tessitore
Somebody gonna get the Test whooped. What? Somebody
gonna get the Test whooped. What? Get him up. All right, come back on, please, because now we're going to talk about the Intercontinental title match.
I don't know. I'm liking this. I feel mysterious.
Right.
Okay, I'm back.
Oh, thank you, Carrie, again for the picture.
Carrie will talk because I don't know.
All right, so WWE Intercontinental title match. Here's the cool thing. We talked about it, but man, that moment for Dom, where the fans were cheering, and he just ran back in the ring to just soak it in. I don't know about you, but I actually felt so good for him. It's like, of all people, you think about the WrestleMania matches with his dad and everything, and what did you think about with that whole thing?
It was unexpected, but it goes to show you just how much, and this was mentioned because I did an interview and we talked about it. It's like that moment, like he didn't know he was halfway up the ramp and like, oh, they're cheering for him. He wasn't used to it.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's like, no, folks, no. I felt that was low key. Like that wasn't like he really didn't expect it. He did the heel thing to do. He was gonna go back up the ramp and call it a day. And the fact that he showed up was absolutely amazing. And the crowd embraced him because even they knew the work he put in, even as a heel, that he's been one of the like I could argue one of those guys. You strap a rocket to that guy, you strap a rocket to Dom, that guy's going to be a world champion someday. And I think the crowd just you could feel it when it was a great moment. And I'm imagining his dad was Ray was back there, hopefully to share that moment with him.
Yeah. Well, I know that I remember seeing that he was actually in the crowd, and I think he was there to congratulate him and everything,
Mm-hmm.
but he made sure it looked like he was just, not Rey Mysterio, aka,
right.
People go, oh, what's he do? Oh man, kayfabe. No, I think it was cool. And I hope people understand when you have a guy that actually is putting the work in, man, it's nothing like rewarding the guy, and that's all it is. And look, now this is up to him. How do you carry it? What do you do with it? And creative, make sure you hook him up right. So Dirty Dom got to defend against Penta. It was a good match. We had to have a bunch of interference because hey, look, that's just the way it's going to go. And no, this is not going to kill Penta. It's fine. But we had JD McDonough come back, the five head, the man that can't be killed with after his spot. And at least Carlito got to live past this point too. He did not get erased from existence. But yeah, Judgment Day actually pulls off the win, and Dom pins Penta and wins with the frog splash, which was kind of surprising. But you're seeing everybody in Judgment Day now all happy, but one guy, Finn Balor. So, how are you feeling, and what are you thinking after that situation?
I like it, and it's one of the things great to see. First of all, it's great to see JD McDonough. I talk about his forehead a lot.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness, it's glad to see him back because that looked bad when the last time we saw him.
Oh yeah.
In a ring. And great to see him back. Maybe not wrestling now, but just the fact that he was even able to be on television was something nothing short of impressive.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was an excellent match. I think it was a great first opponent for him to have in Penta to kind of defend the belt against. And to me, I double down and I'll say it again. I think we're going to get Finn and Dom because there's definitely friction there. And because notice who didn't show up when they first arrived there, it was Finn.
Yeah.
And even though Finn was there, it's like you could kind of see Finn lingering and looking at that belt. But as for the match itself, like Dom did amazing. And like I'm curious to see this title run is going to be fun to watch because him with that belt, taking that belt everywhere, it's basically he has two great things right now. He's got a championship and he's got the lady. Listen, when you got those things working for you, like I'm gonna Dirty Dom early wrestler of the year candidate. Yeah. Like he's got the belt, he's got Liv Morgan, and he's got a great friend in Carlito. I'm just Netflix. You know what to do.
Yes. If you're gonna do a show for WWE, they could do a whole show with Dominic and Carlito.
I mean, you can do a spinoff with just Carlito's Way, but you put Carlito's Way, but not the movie. But you could change like Carlito's Take or whatever saves you guys from being sued. Give Carlito a spinoff show as well.
You could even call it the Carlito. like you just said, Carlito's Way. That'd be really cool. So
if that comes out, I want some of that cash.
yeah, you should get some. All right, man, let's do it. Now first of all, WWE did a AI generated thing with Element Grande Americano, and my lord, the celebrations must have been amazing. I mean, the pictures was hilarious. But I just said, if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It's quite funny, the parade one. Paul Heyman walking down the aisle with Seth Rollins. Seth in a yellow suit. Paul sporting a yellow tie. I mean, you know what? We don't have to go over all the words. We don't have to go. Just talk about it. What did you think about it? What was your favorite parts? What was something that really stands out to you there, Ladarius? This is your guy. So, and what's funny is the fans is cheering him, but then they realize Paul Heyman's with him, so they boo him. But then it's almost like they confuse themselves.
Yeah, listen, and that's natural to happen. Listen, we call it Seth Rollinitis. It's where like you want to boo, but listen, Mr. Fashion. Listen, was he looking like Tweety Bird's attorney? Yes, he was. Yeah. And was Paul Heyman looking like the advocate for Tweety Bird's lawyer? Yes. Oh man,
I just can't get that out of my head now.
Me, because when I first saw it, I was like, "What does it remind me of?" And I said, "Tweety," and I'm like, and it stuck with me. I can't think of anything different. Listen, absolutely amazing.
Mm-hmm.
I think you got the insight. And here's the thing: you saw Punk come out, then you see Roman come out, and I'm like, you expected it to have. I expected, Punk is, I didn't know all three was going to show up Raw at the WrestleMania.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, all that goes down. And then we see a guy in a hoodie. And then a Braun Beast Breaker. Listen, fade to black. Executive producer, Paul Levesque, Lee Fitting. And the thing is, they stayed a little bit longer after that too, which shout out to Netflix for doing that.
Mm-hmm.
And because you just saw, Braun destroy Roman, and then folks, I'm going to say this again. Seth Rollins and the work that he's done, not just now. Don't let the last 2 years, the last decade.
Mm-hmm.
I can make an all-time strong case that he's been outside of maybe Roman or Cena.
Yeah,
has been a face of that company.
Yeah.
Anything that they ask him to do, he's done it. Hey, we need you to face Cody Rhodes when he returns at WrestleMania. Done. We need you to take 3 L's against Cody Rhodes. Done. And I remember people saying, "Oh, you're burying him." But I'm like, you guys don't know what burying is, because you had some people think that Joe Henry was buried, and I'm like, you guys don't know what the word buried means. And then somebody commented, "Oh, I think you're just making it up." No, my guy, people were saying that Joe Hendry was buried, and I said, how can someone from another promotion be buried on the big? How can someone be buried on the biggest PLE in wrestling?
And by the way, he brought his title, and normally they don't show those.
They don't. Like when Jordan Grace was TNA, she brought the belt out too.
Yeah.
Like, what do they tell when she was with TNA? The point is, people, you don't know what buried is. Like, I want to clear that up. You don't know what it is. And I had to keep defending Seth. Like, he doesn't need defending, but I'm like, you guys don't get it. Just tell me you don't get it, respectfully.
Mm-hmm.
Because they rewarded him with the inaugural World Heavyweight and had a solid run. And people, and then
set the pace.
And at the end of the day, like I said, at WrestleMania 40, he was the cog. WrestleMania 41, he was the whole machine. He was everything.
Mm-hmm.
He was just as integral to that triple threat, because this triple threat was really about Roman and Punk, because they were battling over Paul Heyman, quote unquote. But the one guy, Dre, yeah, that's true. Yeah, they did. But even still, for them to put the TNA belt
eventually.
Yeah, like Dre's right, but for them to still put the TNA belt on WWE Pro, it's still significant to a certain extent.
Kind of taboo.
Yeah, exactly. Like Dre's right. I'm not trying to knock what Dre's saying is right, but it still feels like, man, it still feels odd, I guess is the way. But the point is, to put a button on it, give Seth Rollins his flowers, because think about the character where he was a part of the Authority. He was go back to like that Thunderdome era, that COVID era. He was the Messiah, and the work that he and Buddy Matthews did together was absolutely fantastic.
And there was some good look. He did a lot of good work there.
And when you look at what he did
with Kevin Owens,
I was going to get just look at everything he's done the last decade. He's done it, and then some. And the fact that now you get him to team with arguably one of the greatest managers in the history, not just of WWE, in the history of wrestling. Forget WWE, in the history of wrestling. Because in a lot of people's eyes, listen, Bobby the Brain Heenan is number one. Who you want to have at number two is who you want. You could have Cornette, you could have Heyman. That's for y'all to argue over. Like I always say, that's for y'all to argue amongst yourselves. I'm not involved in those arguments. I'm eating a sandwich. I'm not involved in it. But the point is, what we saw on Raw, Paul Heyman is building up something, and people got to remember when Raw on Netflix, when we saw backstage, we saw Paul Heyman with Braun Breaker when he was the IC champion, and Paul Bear as well. Exactly, Dre. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, Dre, I was on a roll. I apologize. I forget names when I'm on a roll. Paul Bear is in that conversation as well. But that's why I say, whoever you feel is second, I'm not going to sit there and say there's a wrong answer. But to me, Bobby the Brain Heenan to me is number one. I think a lot of people kind of feel that way. But
he's up there. He's right up there. Yeah.
Yeah. Like some people have whatever. Like I put it this way: I Bobby the Brain number one, and number two you can't go wrong. Jimmy Hart, yeah. Okay, Dre. I say one manager and he gives me 10.
Yeah. He's now naming them all off. But look, you're not wrong. I mean, it's your list.
Yeah, but I'll put it this way: whomever you like whether it's so whether it's Bobby the Brain, whether it's Paul Heyman, whether it's Paul Bear, whether it's Jimmy Hart, whether it's Jim Cornette, whatever floats thine boat on your Mount Rushmore, mm-hmm. Or if you want to sculpt another face on Mount Rushmore and make it 5, that's fine by me too. But for Seth Rollins to team up with Paul Heyman, and then you add Braun Breaker to the mix. Listen, they're doing something special, and earlier was mentioned that they're particularly adding Becky Lynch and then it was funny because someone mentioned what you did, and then Alundra Blaze stepped in and said, she was technically maybe the first Paul Heyman girl, mm-hmm. because back when he was Paulie Dangerously.
Yes. And in WCW, yes, that's true.
Yeah,
So when I say first Heyman woman,
well, yeah, I know. I'm just listen. Take it with Alundra Blaze. Don't take it up with me.
Oh yeah. But what I'm going to say is, I think that would be so epic.
Yeah, I mean, listen. Nobody's rooting for it harder than. Listen, I like Becky and Seth, and they happen to be married. Like, listen, did I get them together? I'm not going to comment on that. But let's see. What are the characters of Breaker and Rollins going to be? That's a great question, Dre. The best answer I'm going to give you is expect them to chase. Expect Braun to kind of chase himself back into. Expect I wouldn't be shocked if they put him up as a tag team, just for the sake of putting him as a tag team. Not saying that they would, but you could go a different route. You can have them chase championships. You can have them do a lot of things in that faction. It's just what we saw on Monday was just Braun being added. There's no telling who else. And if you add a female, Becky Lynch is right on top of that list for a lot of obvious reasons. It's just a matter of how you go about doing it. But like I think Breakker and Rollins to me, I think Heyman's clearly like he's the wise man, he's the guy orchestrating it. Seth is Seth, and Braun just let Braun. What you saw? What does Braun Breakker do? He just beats the bejesus out of people. Like Braun's the guy when he played football. I bet you the coach just told him, "Hey, just tackle. Forget the play. Forget the nickel 3-back zone blitz, whatever."
He was a fullback.
Find the football, and it's like in the replacements where the late great when the coach told him, just get me the football.
You want that ball? Yeah, I want that ball. You want that ball? Give me that ball. I'll get you that ball. Son.
And then what did he do? I got the football.
Oh God, that was so funny.
You can sit down now. You can sit down. That's Braun Breakker. Braun Breakker is going to get you that football. And I think they're going to work out just fine. Let Braun just be what we saw Monday. That's what Braun's going to be. Like maybe an enforcer, or to kind of be the protector of Rollins, and Rollins can defend himself, but kind of be there, just being like the protector kind of guy. And I think they do add a female member. I think Becky. I threw out the name Roxanne Perez as well. I think if they were to go like the young route, like up and coming, I think Roxanne would make a lot of sense too. But like I say, there's a couple out there, but those two names kind of stick to my mind. But listen, the end of Raw was absolutely fantastic. Chef's kiss, 10 out of 10, no notes.
Here's what I'm going to say.
And that's our show, folks. So sorry, CDouble, we're out of time. And we'll see you next week on Wrestling.
When did we get credits? All right. So my quick takes on this is simple. I want to give more time because I want to see what happens.
Yeah.
Because now you've got this. And to be honest, I think everyone's more excited than they were before. And I'm intrigued by Braun Breakker being a part of it. I like it. I also like the idea of, maybe having Becky in part of it. Becky should. Or it's like this. If you don't do it now, when will you have the opportunity to do it?
Right.
But make sure you do it in a way that makes sense and makes it where, you could really create something special. But honestly, man, I want to see how this all breaks down. The best thing about the dangerous alliance, that's what Paul Heyman used to have back in WCW. He had a whole bunch of guys in his stable. And I'm talking, it was more than 4. It was like, there were times I think there was 5, maybe 6. So if we get something like that, I'm intrigued. I want to see how it comes together. I really am excited about seeing, of all people, I keep building Braun. That's how I see it. I'm going to tell you, it gives me, if you do it right, you could pull another evolution out of this. Or, like I said, Dangerous Alliance way. But Paul Heyman being the wrestler whisperer, and you got Seth, you got Braun. I'm really excited. And I hope they try to put a different spin on it, though. I hope they try to get it, maybe having people from NXT, or something. But like I said, we'll see how it goes. I'm not going to put anything yet on it. The only thing I wanted to ask you, so the draft's going to happen. We're going to do a show Friday morning at 10 or 11 o'clock. So
you said 7, but like, sir.
I was thinking of time SmackDown.
You better mean 7 in France because if you're
don't worry, I got you. I fixed that. I fixed that problem in my head.
You better mean 7 in California time because if you mean what?
So again, 11 o'clock a.m. So Friday, we'll go over what we think about the draft and how we're feeling about the future, and then talk a little bit about what we expect on Friday's draft, as well as all that good stuff. SmackDown's going to be on. We're going to have a 3-way or TLC ladder match. Get ready for that. That should be good.
Don't go chasing. Oh, you said TLC. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you could actually
listen.
love that song.
I put a joke out there. I said when I saw when they announced, I said a TLC match. There's no scrubs in that match. No scrubs.
That's what you meant. Oh my god, I feel stupid.
Because the scrub is a guy who did.
I read it and I just was like, was he being tongue in cheek about the No Scrub song? Nah, because I'm just like going over. Oh, maybe he's just because I'm in my head going. Oh,
see, this is why I don't put out jokes like that because I get responses just like that.
No, but I'm sorry.
It's okay. From now on, I'll keep my thoughts in my head. I'll do what Randy Orton's done for 20 years. I'll just keep those voices in my head. That's what I'm going to do.
No, because then you might punt me on a day I don't expect it.
Hey, listen, hey. There's 365 days in a year, 366 in a leap year. Hey, you better be lucky it's not a leap year, pal.
Jesus. Wait a minute. I think this year is a leap year. Hold on. Lord, I'm in trouble. All right, so look. Make sure you follow us.
June 12th.
How did you get here? Would you like
some? That's how I got here.
Also, I don't know what's going to happen with Cody yet, so we'll see. Maybe if he shows up SmackDown, or honestly, if they give him a break, I would not be mad.
Yeah, he needs all the Kit Kat bars he can get, so give him a break, folks.
Yeah.
See, once again, you know what? Forget it. I'm done.
I went with it. I liked it. I'm like, yeah, give him a break. I'm liking the Kit Kat.
Last tongue-in-cheek joke you hear from me on listen to my followers and listen. I'm going to be straight laced on with every tweet. No comedy. We're going to be serious. No jokes.
You're still you. Don't worry about it. All right, folks. Well, look, Ladarius, go ahead, give your shout outs and your plugs. Where they can find you.
Remember, folks, straight to the material. No.
Stop it.
You can find me on Twitter and TikTok at Ladarius_Brown. Instagram, Ladarius_Brown. You can find me writer-editor for Beyond Women's Sports. You catch the interview that I did yesterday, where we kind of recap, where we talked about other stuff as well. You check that out as well. It's out. The clips are out. Check it out on all of my social media. And like I say, thank you to all the amazing people in the chat here. We had Dre, my wise man Craig, Nasir, I think I'm saying that correctly, David Rosca, April, aka Ron, and John. Hey, John.
I like that. Look at that.
Yeah.
Look at that. I like it.
Oh, listen, I promise. I'm sorry. I apologize. I said no tongue-in-cheek joke.
No. That was tongue-in-cheek worthy.
Nope. Struck from the record. Legal's getting involved. And also check out my the YouTube channel. I'm trying to get it built back up. It's at Ladarius B. All the videos, like in fact, you can watch the show through my buddy CDouble's channel. You can watch everything that we do, whether it's the morning show, whether it's this. You can find a stream there as well. And shout out to you, CDub, always doing this, and we'll see you all. We get a Thursday off. I'm assuming it's still paid. It's a paid day.
Yeah,
so listen, if you would have said no pay, I swear to God. But anyway,
we wouldn't do that to you, sir. The wise man was a tough negotiator.
Yeah, see, the wise man earning his check. He gets it.
Yes, exactly.
And just thank you to CDub. Thank you to the chat once again, just for being amazing and sticking out with us.
Yeah. We want to thank everybody for being a part of the show. And Ladarius, thank you so much for being a part. And great interview with Miss Tanya. She was amazing. And Love her insight, as well as just always enjoy talking wrestling, talking football with you. And guys, that's about it for us. Now, we didn't talk about the roast because honestly, I don't think there was really much to talk about.
You see, that's the problem when you don't air it. So I didn't really hear nothing about it, to be honest.
Well, I've heard some stuff, but it's like I don't know what's true and what's not. All I know is this. Apparently, Charlotte's not following Nia on Twitter after Nia's comments to Charlotte. Oops.
Oh wait! Oh look! Oh great! I gotta deal with that. Thanks a lot, bro.
Yeah. Well, I'm giving you a heads up. I didn't know about this. Yeah,
so it looks like I won't be going straight home tonight.
You may want to give a call to JJ. And we don't know who that is. Wink, wink.
Where are you going? I'm watching what's a long movie? Ah, yes. I'm gonna watch all the Godfather movies in the local theater.
I'm gonna watch them in alphabetical order.
But wouldn't the third one come first? Listen, we're asking too many questions. We're gonna watch the movie. I'm trying not to get home because then I gotta hear about no. Then I gotta talk to Charlotte, and then
yeah. Just stay away. Just stay away.
Then I gotta be a mediator. I'm like, okay.
Braun was awful. Braun Strowman. Gabriel was too nice. People said.
Well, listen. I like a little fluffy. Listen.
I do too. I love Fluffy.
But listen, I guess there's a reason why I didn't hear anything, so nothing must not be great. So I think there's a reason why it wasn't televised.
And they said that Pat was high. Paul Heyman definitely confirmed it in the interview. And by the way, if you haven't seen the Paul Heyman interview from the Pat McAfee show, go ahead and watch it. Just know, I don't know how someone didn't get canceled as soon as Paul Heyman got off here.
ESPN execs were like, "Oh man, oh man, we're gonna enjoy a little Pat McAfee. Oh man,
hey, that's Paul Heyman. Stephen A. likes that guy. Okay, yeah, he can't be that.
Oh yeah. Oh, he's not gonna do it. Oh no.
Oh no.
And then he talked about the oh my god. And then he mentioned
get him off the air.
He mentioned like, hey, wait. You can't wait. No, wait, hang on. I gotta take this. Yeah. That won't work for me, brother. Yeah, I get it. Yeah. Yeah, we gotta shut this down.
Shut it down. I said shut it down.
Cut the clips to ESPN Classic. Go.
Skip Bayless and Stephen A. Smith when they were young.
Yeah. Show all episode of Cold Pizza. What?
Go to Cold Pizza.
Hi, I'm Jay Crawford. Wait, what? I'm Dan. Wait.
I mean, first of all, Cold Pizza was the jam. I mean, I loved seeing Dana Jacobson and her horse stuff. So, she was always cute.
And we're here, and our special guest, Stephen A. Smith. I just hope to be something great in this business. Like, I know it's an old episode now.
And then, hold on. And then you see Stephen A. Smith. I wouldn't have done that. My bosses at ESPN told me to say this.
And I have to say it.
Hold on. And watch me as I run over that person.
Oh, well, look who's in the chat.
Oh, hold on. Let's do it the right way. Look at that.
Yeah,
it's the background for me.
Hey, Carrie, did you ask me how I felt during all of that? Because you notice I didn't say one word during that whole segment. Like, not a word. Not a word. And thank you for that. Carrie. It gave me a time to do my breathing exercises, so I didn't have to deal, a couple of woo-saws because thank you, Carrie. Thank you.
I slept very well knowing that I
slept terribly, by the way. Knowing that this was going to happen today, I slept terribly.
I mean, just look. I mean, Gunther just carousing and just holding him ever so comfortable. Yes. How do you feel about it, Latarius?
Oh, you want to see how I'm? You want to know how I'm feeling?
How are you feeling?
I want to see how I'm like on SpongeBob with Mr. Krabs. You want to know how I'm feeling? Yeah, Mr. Kraft, how are you feeling? I feel like a bird.
Oh my God! Some of the funniest stuff was in SpongeBob. I hate to say it, but it was.
Let's just say the F didn't stand for flowers.
Yeah.
When it stand for, we'll be right back with the Wrestle.
That's what ESPN wanted to do while Paul Heyman was talking.
Yeah.
Like Paul's doing it's supposed to be puff puff pass, but you were like Paul.
Pat saw his career flash before his eyes.
No, we're humble as the fans are chanting King Slong, King Slong.
Is anybody going to stop this? No, he's cooking. He's cooking.
And ESPN's doing this. Is that our store? Is that us on fire? Yeah. What are we gonna do? Just let it burn. We'll fire him next week. Let it burn.
Gotta let it burn.
Oh,
it's gonna burn for me to say this, but it's coming from my
I know this gonna be the death of me. Yes, I know.
I think you should.
I said fire
to the right. Even Adele's like, I'll be part of that, mate.
Paul, after Paul Heyman left John Cena, Paul was like, I gotta follow that shit up.
You see, I mean, that the best heel work. How do I follow it?
Dude, you're high all the time. Like, and Pat's like, no, don't tell him that. I gotta pee in a cup when I get there.
Dog, they're talking about. They said, "quote hallucination, dog."
Trust me, I was hallucinating when Gunther was cuddling me.
I mean, who's gonna? Here, did anyone check what was in Michael Cole's cup? Like, because like when they did that thing in Pittsburgh, he came down them stairs. Come on, listen, it wasn't no Aquafina in that cup.
Nah, that man was toasty.
Like he came from a wedding.
I am here.
I remember, you remember Heidenreich.
Oh God. Let me tell you the day I was behind the door and a big man was behind me.
And I felt what I presumed to be a flashlight.
And I remember when Gunther put me in the sleeper, I said, oh, don't slip the pickle.
Don't hinder my gender.
This has been an exhausting WrestleMania week, and now we are hallucinating, or we are just delusional.
But thank you, Carrie, for the photo submission. And
yes, thank you, Carrie. You made sure that the show was complete, and I appreciate you. You are definitely recognized. So
we got to get Carrie on here at some point.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bring Carrie on the show and let her, vent about how she feels about the state of wrestling right now.
Yeah, so, I can go on vacation because I'm scarred from seeing it.
Well, I promise. Look, I promise. It was either that picture or the Tony Atlas having someone walk on him. I chose this picture.
You know what? Look, I wouldn't have looked away.
You're like, now you say it like that. I think I could have worked with that. All right, folks. Please enjoy Dark Side of the Ring. I know it's about superstar Billy Graham. That should be interesting. Man thought he was going to die, and he lived to be 80. So this should be interesting. And not just that, but he's the same guy that said Kofi needed steroids to win the title, which obviously did not need to be the case. So I can't wait to watch it. I'll give my review about it once I see it. But yeah, definitely check that out. And then check out SmackDown. And we'll talk all about SmackDown and Raw and NXT as well as some AEW. Look, we covered WrestleMania and we covered this show. We were going to be done. We were not going to try to cover a whole bunch of other stuff after that.
WrestleMania.
Whoa. WrestleMania.
Oh, man.
Man.
With Bret Hart. Oh, my God. Oh.
We're going to need to find it. And then once we find it, we're going to play it as our intro.
Listen,
I don't care.
Give the weekend a year off and just do that.
Yeah. I mean, hello. And no more Travis Scott, by the way. I'm done with hearing Fiend. No, I want to hear WrestleMania. Bam. There you go. Or Stand Back by Vince McMahon.
WrestleMania. WrestleMania.
Yeah.
He remixed it. Give
Yeah,
Rebel.
mix them both. And we like stand back, back to back.
Oh man. Still getting royalties. BKM still getting royalties. We just give him another $5 just by singing that song.
Yeah, we got it now. All right, folks. For Ladarius or me, we out. Peace. Adios.